Ladies and gentlemen, and all our friends, welcome to the Sunday Cup for our first elimination match between Apes Together Strong and Team Placeholder. I'm Adalast. I'm joined by TSM. TSM, how are you today?
Hello. I'm good. I'm very excited. This is our first playoffs match. It's fourth versus fifth, but it's also our first elimination match because either one of the teams will somewhat be ending their split with the current series today. And from what I've seen so far, it's usually exciting. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen today and who takes the win, who continues in playoffs.
Absolutely everything on the line for both these teams. So excited to see what they pull out today because every game counts. But right now we got the lineups up. We have for Apes Together Strong, Weetzy in the top side, Jansky in the jungle, Vience in mid lane, Plewandolski in the bot lane, and Bald Primate for support. For Team Placeholder, Owl Kami is in the top lane, Liraf2 in jungle, Mamui mid, Idolatry in bot, and Robane Copain support. Maybe Robin Copan. You might have to correct my French.
I think it's Copan indeed, but there's a couple of different names from what I recall. PhD also switched up their lineup somewhat. Bot lane is, I think, the regular. Sorry, no. ADC is the regular, except Robin is or not a usual. Still, some switch arounds. Ape are the same except for support, so most of their full lineup is there. PhD are a bit of switch up, but they've done this before and it worked, or at least they took games before. So yeah, I'm sure they can pull it off.
Only need a couple today. Synergy already there for Bald Primate, having the Primate name for Apes Together Strong. You have to think that's going to be a benefit to their team cohesion, but obviously with both these teams not having their 100% original lineups, we'll see which one's the better for it.
I might not be, or I'm not surprised if Bald Primate is actually Ape's biggest fan, just with the name. Yeah, good. Definitely a good substitute to fit in your team. Be Apes or Apes strong together is definitely gonna benefit from having an extra ape. I might.
Looking at these two teams and how they've played over the course of the split, who do you favor in today's matchup?
Ooh, I think I somewhat favor Ape in this one. I think PhD might have better individual players, like individually skilled. I think Ape has a bit of an edge in terms of team play. Macro, but it might be close. I'm not entirely sure.
With these teams with even records, they've both been able to take one series so far, at least, so neither of them coming in winless. But Apes Together Strong, I would agree with you, slightly favored overall. A game like this, having that team cohesion is almost more important than anything else.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, but it's both teams have a substitute, so they're both at an equal disadvantage, if you'd like to call it that. I'm also seeing multiple subs on the PhD side. Rim as a previous mid laner, Ayani of Naya as a previous top laner who might be around, and I think Korean name, sorry, used to be or has played as a ADC previously. PhD have their subs mentioned. Ape also have a new sub to me, Kojax. Haven't seen him before, but still, I'm excited to see more people play and to get a good series as well this time.
Absolutely. I can't confirm that is Korean. I could not tell you for the life of me what it says, so apologies for that. There are only so many languages one can know. For me, it's one, but that's typical American.
That's most of TSC people are European, so I think they have you beat by one language. Usually,
at least.
Usually that is. But yeah, no, still, it's fine. Everything English works. Usually everybody speaks English, or at least a little bit. It's necessary in today's communication. So yeah, English works. It's perfect.
Not an excuse anyway. Currently, the teams are setting up their lobbies. We're still waiting on a couple of things to get squared away before we jump into our picks and bans here. So we've got a little bit of time to go through. And I'm going to ask you, TSM, do you have any picks you're looking for either of these teams? Or are we just going to have to see, especially with the substitute players, what the priority is going to be as we get into picks and bans?
I'm not entirely sure. I recall. Let me think. I recall a possible Gragas top for Ape. Has been played a couple times. Gragas top generally is a good safe call. So I'm not sure if they'd actually go for it, but I somewhat expect it to happen. Janske on Ape has a very good Zac. Yeah, no, okay. There. I think there's a chance there's either a Zac or a Zac ban in this series at least. Alkami from PhD is a Skarner main with the new Skarner rework. I do have to tell that he is currently banned for 2 weeks of play, so kind of sad to see. But otherwise, I would have definitely expected a Skarner top lane. Mamu is a Nafari one, or not one trick, sorry, definitely sorry, not a one trick. Nafari player. I've seen it a couple in pretty good games. And yeah, last but not least, the PhD ADC, Idolatrine, is somewhat of a misfortune love enjoyer. So yeah, there might be a misfortune there too. I'm not entirely sure if there's actually like priority picks for either teams, except for the Zac maybe on Ape side, but I could definitely be wrong. They could definitely have changed up their schedule. Maybe they've been practicing, and yeah, I have no info on that. So excited to see what they pull out today.
Absolutely, and like you mentioned, for the Gragas top especially, but also the Zac, those are both fairly safe picks that you can fit into just about any team composition. Whereas the misfortune and the Nefiri for side of placeholder are a little bit more pocket picks. Have to make sure that they work into the team composition you're going to be facing more so than the others.
Yeah, agreed. Not everything or not every champion usually works out. That's also because some champions are more favored towards solo queue or chaotic play, and champions that not those champions tend to be a lot less effective in competitive play. It's definitely not pro play. We are not that good, but having a full team and communication makes a big difference on chaotic and stealthy champions sometimes. Yeah.
Clearly, the Nefiri yet to be picked in pro play for that very reason. But we are into picks and bans. Smolder, the first pick taken away for Apes Together Strong, is on a placeholder banning out this area. So ADC sitting the floor first.
Yeah, ADC's out right off the gate. I see. Ooh, did it PhD ban it? Yeah, okay. The Zeri ban is definitely aimed towards the ADC. He has recently been kind of spamming the Zeri, so good scouting there. A Vex ban for Ape, that's pointed towards mid lane. What are we seeing next? Is it the Zac? It is. Okay, so the Zac callout for Ape. The Zac for jungle is banned out. Slight shame, but maybe he might come out, or it might come out later in the series. Who knows? Quick bans, quick bans. Okay, Kernut out from Ape, so Kernut last ban towards jungle, and Viego towards Ape's jungle, and double ban on jungle for a PhD side.
Quite a few jungle bans here in the first round. Interested to see what the first pick is here. I do like the safety of the Gragas top, but obviously darn near every other champion in the game on the table, so we'll see if they decide to betray what their team comp's going to be or just pick something relatively safe in the Jinx.
Yeah. ADC first, so the usual priority. ADCs usually take the edge in first pick. PhD looking for a counter. It is the Ashe. Okay, good stuff. Ashe and Thresh. Okay, very decently pokey, but definitely a good amount of pressure to punish the Jinx if you misstep.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure, a little bit of safety as well with the Lantern for the immobile Ashe. So kind of a jack of all trades bot lane, not knowing what the Ape composition is going to be that it's playing into, but wanting to secure those picks early. The Thresh could also be a takeaway from Apes Together Strong that obviously pairs very well with the Jinx too. So Braum hovered and locked in for Apes Together Strong.
Good stuff, good stuff. Okay, that's added defense and peeling for Jinx. Good start. Both bot lanes are decently strong. I personally might like the Jinx Braum combo more because it's easier to execute. But Ashe Thresh they can also definitely shine.
Absolutely can. Sejuani, the third pick, and it looks like we're getting a very front-to-back composition already from Apes Together Strong. We still have yet to see what the solo runners are going to be, but with the Jinx at the back line and Braum and Sejuani in the front, you kind of know how that team wants to play already.
Yeah, they're definitely aiming front to back. Good stuff. Good solid start. PhD locking in the Lilia, so Lilia for jungle. Both teams now locking in ADC support and jungle so far. Mid lane and top lane left, so let's see where the bends go from there.
Yeah, more aggressive jungler from PhD. I like it specifically into those tanky members from Apes Together Strong. Being able to melt down the front line a little bit before and during a fight is definitely going to be important for the team. Getting that power in the jungle never hurts.
No, agreed. It's also a bit of a mix. Oh, bans coming in already. Ilaoi for PhD side, so aim towards top. Neferi for Ape, that's aims toward mid. Mamoi's Nefari, previously known and somewhat feared. Volibear top again, or as well, so that's likely also aimed towards top. Double ban for top lane for PhD. Ape are looking at their last ban currently. Couple seconds left. Let's see where they go. Do they go mid again? They go Garen. They aim it towards top as well. And PhD currently, yeah, looking for the first pick, hovering Warwick, likely a top lane, but who knows?
I do like the heads up Neferi ban, especially in a composition where you do have some strong AP in the jungle. If there was a game for it, a game where you want to be able to pick off the Jinx, who's going to be one of potentially just two carries on the side of Apes Together Strong, would be a good look. But the Ahri instead for the mid lane.
Yeah, Ahri it is. Very, very pick focused so far. But besides double magic, I still like the combination. Good chance for picks, decent team fighting, but Ahri in general, very strong current days. Malignant's first item, and yeah, the ulti hurts.
Very well-rounded mid laner. Annie is the answer. Definitely another safe facilitator for the side of Apes Together Strong. It's not going to be that AP carry unless she gets extraordinarily fed, but it is going to be another way of controlling the enemy for Apes Together Strong.
Yeah, a lot simpler, easier to execute, but no, definitely a good match for Ahri. Both are pretty good roamers. Ahri might be stronger, but Annie has AoE, so beats the Ahri on that part. Olaf top locked in for Ape, rounding out their composition. They have a decent, or at least one extra melee attacker for the Sejuani stuns, but still looking front to back. Jinx, Annie on the backline with Olaf running in, Sejuani, Braum frontlining. Pretty solid
Absolutely.
comp.
And the nice thing about this Olaf pick is it does give Apes Together Strong a second lane to play through. You're really not going to be looking to gank the Annie all that much in the mid lane unless they are seriously mispositioned. So having the Olaf topside, which as you said synergizes very well with the Sejuani, gives them that another point of strength so that if things do go, upside down in the bottom lane, they can still switch their focus towards top. Looks like the Scion will be the answer from placeholder.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's a good counter in terms of front to back. PhD have a very solid tank in the Scion, giving them their full front line. Something for Lilia and Ahri to work around, for Ashe to stand behind. Good stuff, and yeah, fairly solid team comps from both sides. Not too difficult, so that's to my liking. Easy to execute, should work well this game.
Totally agree. Looking at both of these, is there one you favor over the other?
I would like to play the PhD side because they are more pick focused. They do, however, lightly get beat in scaling. I think with the Jinx on the other side. I think the Ape team comp has better scaling in terms of damage. The only favored part scaling wise is the Scion on top lane for me. So a more tanky member, but yeah, PhD's team comp looks more fun. Ape's team comp will outscale, I think.
And we'll have to see what kind of game we have on our hands. If it's a solo queue sort of game, you definitely favor PhD, but if it's a 5v5, all hands on deck, fight around objectives kind of game, Apes together strong with their front to back. It just seems so easy to execute. You lay the bear down, you land the Glacial Prison, the Braum Ultimate. Any of these tools can be used to basically single-handedly win the fight and set up the Jinx to get excited. So we'll have to see how it does play out. I think I personally favor the Apes together strong for that team fight reason, but obviously if they're not able to find the 5v5, it's going to be hard for them.
Yeah, true. No, it's at least they have different team comps. It's not two teams trying to do the exact same thing, or at least having the exact same focus in terms of champions. That's also good, but it probably it might show a clear picture this game. Can PhD do stuff or get stuff done in their mid game, get some picks and snowball from there? Or will it be Ape who look towards team fighting, maybe stalling the game out even early, and get those objectives rolling late game?
You'd love to see very clear win conditions from a draft, especially at this level of play. The easier that you can make it for yourself to understand what your team wants to do, understand what you want to do, the better your chance of winning astronomically. Cannot be overstated.
Yeah, I completely
Good drafts from both these teams. I think they both prepared well.
Yeah, looking good. We are currently waiting for the teams a bit. They are getting getting the game ready. Both teams locking in, and we should be getting into the game very soon.
Towards the Lilia here, I'm wondering at what stage of the game she's actually going to be able to get out onto the map and start working with her solo lanes and with her bot lane to gank. It seems like bot lane's definitely going to be the focus from placeholder. We talked about the two strong lanes to play through for Apes together strong, but the Lilia definitely needs setup from her lanes to be able to effectuate some of that mid-game pressure that we're looking for from the team. Of course, you can do that with the Ahri, but the Charm's not super reliable, so play it through the Thresh and the Ashe is probably going to be the preference there. I'm curious when that'll start to happen.
Yeah, good call. Definitely right. Setup wise, Ahri is the least reliant. However, the Annie is basically the opposite with the guaranteed point or at least skill shot stun. Quite an easy setup. Interested to see who starts where, or at least which jungler focuses where, with the Sejuani more tanky versus the Lilia likely more farm focused early game, just throughout the game trying to get those get your gold in and your levels up so you can start scaling, start getting your items. Lilia early might be beat by the Sejuani, but time will tell.
Absolutely. I'm wondering if Team Placeholder feels strong enough in their top side to try and create some pressure there too against the Olaf. Obviously a champion that if you do set him behind, he's pretty much useless over the course of the mid game. He does need to have some of that gold so that he can chunk through the front line, have some backline threat on towards the enemy. But you got to think against the Sion, he's relatively safe, but he's also not that mobile, so Lilia can chase him down in the long lane if the Olaf mispositions.
Yeah, anytime before level 6, there is a very good chance for ganking. After level 6, it will have to be the Olaf ultimate down. But yeah, Lilia with the added CC she has, as well as the Cyan knockup or E slow, there's a good chance of ganking. Even though Olaf might be slightly beefy, like bruiser-wise, it's not the squishiest member, but definitely killable if they pull off a good gank.
At a certain point, you got to think he's going to be able to take that 2v1 against the Lilia and the Sion. Both basically melee. The Lilia can scoot away if she gets her stacks up, but it's going to be tough as the game goes on. But in the early game, the Olaf doesn't have that kind of 2v1 potential. He's not a Mordekaiser, so we'll see what they're able to do.
No, you're definitely agree. I think I'm interested to see which of the mid laners starts roaming, or at least roams towards objectives first, because both can be very valuable if they start a fight around the dragon or the void grubs, the Ahri charm, or any stun with ultis if they have those up on the first fight. that can definitely make a big difference in terms of who takes the trophy and gets the objective early game.
Absolutely. You have to think that the Grubs will be a little bit higher priority for Apes Together Strong, just with the Jinx and the ability to break down those towers very quickly. We'll see, though, if Team Placeholder are able to create the kind of pressure on bot side that they need to force the Jinx and Braum out of lane to try and take those dragons for themselves. Otherwise, depending on how the early game goes, Apes Together Strong could have kind of free reign over whichever objective they'd like.
Yeah, true. I think Apes win kind of win the early game indeed. They have a bit more upfront power, the Sejuani early game, with just better base stats. And Olaf as well, if they go for Void Grubs, should be winning the 2v2 fight on Void Grubs. And I'm not sure if the Lilia will want to fight that or actually just crops map, basically give up the one side, take the other, and take the second spawn of Void Grubs instead on a later at a later stage.
So we'll have to see as we get into game here shortly. We're just loading in.
Currently looking slightly dark, but we'll get that fixed in a moment. Don't you worry.
It wouldn't be the first game of playoffs without very minor technical difficulties. As soon as we can get that resolved, we'll get right into game. We'll make sure we don't miss any of the action for y'all as well. So the teams are still playing. This is not a pause on their end, but we'll make sure that the game is paused and you, the viewer, will get to see the whole thing. And there we go. First game of playoffs. Apes Together Strong versus Team Placeholder. Defensive positions so far for both of these teams. Looks like Apes Together Strong kind of predicting an invade, but I don't think Team Placeholder are feeling quite that frisky this early on. They do have a strong level 1 S4, but not quite strong enough.
Yeah, default start from PhD, basically defending all the 5 jungle entry points as well as the mid lane. Sion did invade the blue, but no ward there. APE, yeah, basically defending, taking a safe start and leashing their jungler as well as just getting their lane presence done.
No aggressive vision from either of these teams. There's a defensive ward from Apes Together Strong on their own blue, just making sure that Lily isn't trying to take that away, which of course she isn't, but duck standard of the game so far is looking at the top lane, Olaf with the undertow level 1. This would be a bit of a rough level 1 for the Sion.
Might be losing the early stages of the lane, which is to be expected somewhat. It's waiting for Olaf or waiting for Sion, sorry, to get his levels in and get his different abilities. Before that, Olaf is punishing. Olaf might be stronger.
We're not trading the bot side. The Braum passive getting stacked up a little bit, but ultimately not getting caught into a huge threat there. Don't want to chase too far into the Ashe as well, because she can run you across the lane, but they have the wave in a favorable position, so no threat towards the back. It is a pretty good trade for Apes Together Strong. Ox does come through, but shield goes up, and Braum's under no threat this early in the game.
Yeah, they're fine. Oh, it looks like we're having a pause, though. That is a in-game pause from the players.
This time it is on the player's end. So we'll have to see how quickly that gets resolved and what the issue is. As soon as we know more, we will let you know.
Sadly, only barely 3 minutes into the game already a pause. Not too much to talk about yet, although I'm sorry, they already unpaused, so we might be good just to continue the game. After a pause always, there will be stutters though, which is the league client. That should be fixed in just a moment.
Yep, magic of technology. Some things you just can't avoid. Really even game for both these teams. We do see both junglers moving up towards the top side based on their clears. Both started bot and are working their way to top as well. Flash in from the Thresh. Ooh, look into the wave though, not able to find anything in the bot side.
Yeah, sadly hook into the wave indeed. Good attempt, or at least the flay was good. The hook was on the minion, sadly. Would have been a decent chance to get a pick, or at least to get a punish this early in the lane.
A flash out from the Braum, so not totally lost, as there's a Hex Flash on the side of the Thresh as well. So as far as overall pressure, you'd kind of call that an even trade summoner-wise, but Thresh now being on very low mana doesn't have much more threat in the lane until he either pops his pots or goes back.
Slowly seeing pings on the top scuttle at least. The junglers almost met, however Sejuani gave up and is now walking back. No camera there. The game doesn't recognize the fighting as there was none. However, the junglers were very close meeting. Still, looks like the map is going towards the bottom scuttle. Bot lane is... Ooh, looks like we're might be getting a fight, or at least a people looking to contest the second grab.
Apes together strong group just form around the second grab. They do not want to let placeholder take that as well and secure that double scuttle for themselves. As in the top side, Olaf and Sion in the 1v1. The Olaf gets first blood in a solo kill top.
That's quite unlucky and quite a hard punish for the Sion. Olaf ghosted and actually just keeps going on the trade. He knew he was gonna win it, so good stuff for him.
And the wing was in a fairly even state, pushing in favor of the Olaf towards the Sion's turret. So you have to think he could have played a little bit more defensively there. Definitely a mistake for the side of placeholder, but ghost for ghost and one kill in favor of the Olaf. It'll start to swing this lane in a way that team placeholder don't necessarily want.
In no hook. Oh, does land the hook. Good stuff. Can they chase though? They don't have the mana. Don't have the mana.
I'm a bit afraid of that. The pressure the Jinx could put down. Obviously, Ashe with the passive slows could chase Braum all the way down the lane, but another hook comes in, lands on the Braum again.
Almost.
Flash in from Ashe.
Wow. Okay. Good punish. PhD are kind of picking up where they left off. They keep trying, and a couple times in they do hit the mark, do land the kill on Braum. Good stuff.
Wanted to see the Lilia come towards bot lane, and the Lilia comes towards bot lane, able to secure that kill, making good on the burnt flash earlier. So very good stuff in the early game for placeholder on the bot side.
Solid gank from PhD AD. Indeed, Sejuani didn't also contest, but I guess that happens. Sometimes you're just not there. Plays happen without you still. PhD getting the back, they get their first items and are starting with a bit of a farm lead. Top lane also has a farm lead, but it's looking like a gank, and
that's unfortunate positioning from Alakami, just too far forward. Goes for the ultimate on the Olaf, try to create some pressure. Does get 2 plates for his trouble, so not a total loss in the top side, but that's more of a snowball that you didn't want to see.
Yeah, not what you want to see in terms of positioning as well as the ulti. Just ults face first into the Olaf, sadly. Not what he intended. He definitely wanted to run away, but good gank, or at least roam from the jungler, catching him from behind.
Lilia stealing away the first grub. Sejuani does
well.
good second.
Good.
It's going to be a 4v3 in favor of Apes together strong. The Olaf birds the Ragnarok gets exhausted. That's not going to matter. Lilia just tried to secure the objective. Does get the second grub, but goes down for her trouble. So another kill in favor of Apes together strong if PhD did come out slightly ahead on the objective.
Not entirely sure if PhD would have really wanted to contest that there. It's 2-for-1 in favor of Ape in terms of the grubs, but you give yourself, you give your life and the death away for a single void grub. I'm not sure if I would have liked that.
Decidedly not worth, I think, is where I would fall on that. Unless, of course, I was the Lilia, in which case the all shot is getting the worth, for sure. It is one of the things we talked about at the start of the game, that the void grubs are definitely very strong for Apes Together Strong, with the Jinx and the Siege potential there, so placeholder jungler definitely recognizing that and not wanting to give it over, but maybe at the cost of a bit too much, as now Apes Together Strong are onto the Dragon. Engage onto the Annie, but flashes out. Bromfield goes up, but he goes down in the fight, so it's traded onto the Lilia. Jinx getting excited. Yeah, and the Ahri resets, like you said.
Good stuff. Quadra kill. Oh, wow. Okay. Quadra kill, not even an item, but good contest from PhD. They're taking the fight. Oof. 3 for, what, 3 for 1? Or was it? No, sorry, I'm 4 for 1 even. All but the top laner died from Ape's side, and only Lilia from PhD. So, good trade. Very big pop-off from the Ahri, and likely a full item. Maybe even boots on the next back.
Yeah, absolutely. The fight looked a little bit risky with the Lilia going down fairly early. Of course, Jinx getting excited could mean bad things. Just hold on. Olaf on the top side going again.
Both ghosting. This is a
flashes under the. Ooh.
Good outplay.
Yeah, the shield coming up for Awakami. Able to survive the dive, and Richu just takes a dirt shot too many and goes down. So ends up giving over shutdown gold as Rocket comes through, but whiffs, doesn't pick up a kill. For Apes Together Strong, they will force out the opponent bot side. It's placeholder finding a foothold back in this game after what looked like a pretty disastrous early game.
Yeah, it's quite back and forth, which is, I mean, it might not be to the liking of either team, but as a spectator, it's definitely a good thing, and not a anything but a landslide is usually a fun to watch game. Good punish from Ape indeed to not let PhD recall. They're still currently in game, haven't bought extra items, but they're also very low on mana and somewhat even low on HP.
Yeah. Johnny on the top side, but Lilia ganks bot. Flash for the Flay to try and set up for the Lilia. Lilia, although, comes through. The Jinx just goes down. This Brom can't do anything. Oh, that's 2 free kills from Team Placeholder.
Very good stuff from the Lilia, indeed. Barely making it happen. Mid
lane, yeah. Solo kill. Just lands everything onto the Annie. That is not something that you expect to see from an Ahri this early in the game.
No, good stuff from the Ahri, but definitely the gold difference paying off. The 4-0 and item difference.
Anything he has the Malignance. Once you have that, you pop the ult on the Annie. If you can get that proc a few different times, that'll be an easy solo kill. So, as you said, getting that full completed item is a snowball things pretty heavily in favor of placeholders mid laner.
Good plays from there. They're currently slightly contesting soft scuttle, it seems. A couple of things there. They're likely preparing for the Void Grubs, who are spawning soon. TP to mid lane from the Ahri. Ooh, possibly a catch on the Sejuani even. Good flash. Good flash. Yeah, it's dead, or you're definitely guaranteed dead with 2 CC abilities coming towards you. Threshstroke and Cyan Q. You're not gonna get out alive.
It's really heads-up play from the top support of Team Placeholder. Grouping up together to push into the enemy's jungle before that objective is textbook what you want to see from a team in that situation. It looks like...
though, still.
Yeah, Ash forced the flash. Just didn't have the pressure on the bot side. Apes Together Strong looking to get something back for themselves, but not able to do it. Is hold on, Simon. Looking for
happening right now. Diving on the top side. Tower's still alive. Void Grub's getting killed by the Lilia. And yeah, Olaf trying to get the return kill. Deadly doesn't get it. The Ashe does get punished though and towered over by 2. APE are not contesting the top side. However, they are taking a trade on bot side, getting a free kill on the Ashe and the tower dive. Even a couple blades. I'm counting 2 so far. That's 450 gold towards the Jinx. Who would you like to carry? I think the Jinx. So good stuff. Good call.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid consolation prize for Apes Together Strong, but team placeholders
Fine.
communications
We're
just
getting
paying dividends
more.
once again. Is Fion is all over the map now on bot side. He's going to get stunned by the Braum passive, but that's about all. He's going to pick up at least one kill onto the Jinx and might get the Braum too. Does get the slow, shield goes up. Decimating smash is enough, and that's a double kill for the Scion who teleported bot. Oh my god, team placeholder.
That's definitely a worth TP for double kill. Any team, anytime, any day.
And we were talking about the Scion being technically that infinite scaler, but not like this. You don't typically think about it as this kind of scaling champion, but 4-2-1, already very strong this game, and only going to get stronger. So that Jinx getting a little bit of gold in the early game is looking less and less impactful with the way that placeholders composition is getting stronger.
Yeah, hard agree. We're getting a tower dive though, but I think it's somewhat of a fumbled execution. Almost dying on the Sejuani. Yeah, no.
Yes,
Jinx
going down, Jinx gets excited and picks up 2 for herself. Team placeholder didn't need to fight under that tower. It stayed up for the whole play. Lillian, with the E, does manage to get one back, so not a total loss for placeholder, but I think they just overestimated their strength in that play. They thought they could die once again with the Scion being as strong as he is, but that wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, no, Ape side contested a lot better this time and got a good punish and took the fight.
It's another 1v2 gank and bot, this time to Lilia, but decidedly less strong than the Scion at this stage of the game. Does go down to the Super Mega Death Rocket.
Why would you do that alone though? 2v1. Not what you like to see as or on PhD side. It's not helping.
Looks like a bit of a brawl on the top side. It doesn't take to think that either of these players are going to be going down. Both just want to scrap. Well, if it's forced to burn the ghost to get out of the way, but nothing more than that.
I mean, you'll take it if it keeps you alive. Just the ghost burn. Could be worse. Flash in. Missed Tibbers, sadly.
Just whiffed on the Tibbers. We'll force the Arya off the tower, so that won't go down quite yet, but it looks like it should any day now.
Definitely intended to try to get the execute on the Arya itself. Maybe even the follow-up from the Sejuani, trying to get the kill secure, but good engage. Looking for the charm.
Another fight in the mid lane. Arya goes in, does get the last ult on the Annie, secures the kill. And it's 25 kills in 19 minutes. This has been an absolutely bloody game. We could barely talk about one play before the other's already done.
Wasn't even aware. Good arrow. Oh, wow. Okay. Will it be the Jinx? It will be the Jinx. Okay, good stuff. Jinx does get the tower though, but yeah, that's only a pity price compared to the double kill.
No need to flash there. He's just absolutely dead.
That combined with a pretty heads-up dragon play, also getting the dragon secure for PhD, doing multiple things at the same time on the bottom side. Definitely a bloody game, but I'm just looking at the stats. It's less of a gold difference than I would have expected. It's only it's only 4.5k, and that compared to 9 kills.
It's only 4.5k, but I also misspoke. It's only 16 minutes into this game, and Team Placeholder have 3 towers down. They've got 5 grubs, 2 dragons. This is the 1 grub and 2 towers for Apes together strong. So it has been Team Placeholder running the map in this early to mid game, which it is what we wanted to see for their composition, right? It's scaling up on the side of Apes together strong with that Jinx. They have the utility mid lane picking the Annie, who yes is further behind than you would want, but at the end of the day, it's still going to be the Annie. She's still going to have the flash ult as long as she's able to find it in the fights. As Apes together strong, I think they're tired of losing out on plays, and they're looking to secure this Rift Herald for themselves and finally get an objective that goes comfortably in their favor.
Yeah, definitely contesting. Flash in from the Lilia, although big punish and barely alive from living.
Just survived. Rift Herald goes in favor of Jinx, but the fight looked all Team Placeholder.
Plays. Ari might get the extra kill, maybe even an ulti reset. Another one.
Yeah, Sejuani just going down.
Jinx in
Jinx
trouble.
survives, but it's 3 dead, and now the Scion looking for another one. Not quite able to find it, but 3 kills in favor of Team Placeholder at the cost of the Rift Herald that goes to Apes Together Strong.
Yeah, I mean, good play from Ape, not giving up and trying to get the objective, but why is Jinx? I'm sorry, kind of slightly distracted. Jinx is very low. Why wouldn't you get full HP? Sorry. Yeah, no. PSD are still pushing, getting an extra tower, keeping their pressure up. Sion on the top lane, also trying for the tower. Good contest by Olaf.
Yeah, he could potentially get chased down here. There's no Ragnarok for the Olaf, so it's a little bit difficult, but...
Don't think he has the damage though, and I think Olaf knows it too. Still, might have been backup from PhD if you go over aggressive. So, gotta take the safe route. Olaf doesn't want to risk it. Try to get himself killed, possibly if PSD answer or if he loses the fight.
The question at this point may just be, does the Scion die again? Because we talked about the threats for the side of Apes Together Strong. It is the Olaf and it is the Jinx, right? He only has a little bit of damage. It's burst damage. That's not what you're looking for to kill a Scion, right? Scion now has Unending Despair. He's got the Sunfire, and he just picked up the Bramble Vest for himself. So he has built to absolutely counter the auto attack alliances. Hold on. Pick onto the Ahri.
Triple ulti and close to dying though. Okay. Ahri ulti, ladies and gentlemen. Triple dash and all your worries go away. Barely getting out. Quite a close and very good attempt from Ape. At least the almost all the ultis they offered have hit the Ahri. Barely didn't get the kill though.
And Team Placeholder, remember, down. Still looking to be the aggressors now they have 3 people in that top side. Scion being the split push threat at the top is not the champion we thought would do it. Olaf warning the Ragnarok, but he's just doing no damage to the Scion. He might be able to survive here as lifesteal does come through. The Olaf very slowly dying, but does have the decimating smash. Nearly gets the kill on the Olaf. The Jinx shows up. It's a 3v1, but the Scion's still not dead. Just walking it out. Finally goes down to the Jinx, but that took a very long time.
Yeah, that's taking ages getting the Scion down. All of the armor he has bought so far is, I mean, it's definitely paying off in terms of time to kill. Good punish from Ape. Nothing PhD could have done, really. They're trying to get stuff done on other positions on the map, but yeah, slowly but surely taking the bot tower.
How much time did the... a little bit of a mismatch there for the supportive Placeholder, but I do like the play overall with just how much time the Scion bought you. You were able to send multiple members bot side and secure the objective on the other side of the map, which would have net you the gold lead were it not for the Thresh dying, but...
looking for a big...
Ahri
okay.
Does have the ult back up, able to just get a little bit of an exchange onto the Annie, who goes down to half health from really just 2 spells, so... Team Placeholder still looking very strong. If there are a couple of picks even here, favor Apes Together Strong, it's just looking like it's not quite enough.
Big burst flash in. Flash in. 0 HP Lilia. Lilia dead. Ahri is also getting punished. Very big getting excited.
Able to pick up the Ahri into Lilia. There's 1 kill in favor. The Annie does go down, but the Scion's just not big enough. Ashe all the way on the backside, not going to be able to make the difference in this fight. Does get caught by the Jinx. If you look at Death Rocket, lands onto the Thresh, but he's able to frontline now for the Ashe. There's low health bars on the side of Apes Together Strong. Team Placeholder, though, in a 3v4. Braum looking to be the next kill. It is a 3v3, but the Scion next to follow. Jinx exhausted, able to get enough damage onto the Thresh, though, and the Ashe goes down, and it's finally a fight win for Team Apes Together Strong.
Very, very close fights, multiple times. Jinx, yeah, Jinx barely wins it, beats the enemy bot lane, Ashe and Thresh with exhaust in the 2v1. TP in from the Ahri, gets a single punish kill, although probably would have wanted more, probably would have taken the initial fight, but good stuff from Ape. That's, yeah, the gold lead for PhD is slightly shrinking with a one fight there. Dragon as well for Ape, so extra objective. They're definitely still in the game. Jinx getting more items. It's still a long time to kill the Scion, but if she gets her items rolling, I think we should be in for a good game.
We saw Apes Together Strong find their window in the last fight, able to pick off the Lily early, get the Jinx excited, and just turn it into a kill on the Ahri. Definitely an unforced fight from Team Placeholder. They could have just given up the Dragon after the Lilia went down, but feeling like they were still stronger in the 4v5, tried to force it without the As ready and didn't fight at all. It's a little bit of a costly mistake for Team Placeholder. I think their hubris is starting to bite them a little bit.
Yeah, hard agree there. I think they would have wanted more, or at least just a better fight. They ended up losing it and losing the objective as well, which would have been sole point for them getting the third dragon in. It looks like PhD are setting up the Baron now though, so possibly a next objective. Yeah, they're taking the Baron. There's TP on the Annie, but I'm not sure if the Annie is aware yet that they're taking Baron. Okay, TP coming in.
Pushing in
fight is still Baron focused.
Looks like it's going to be a 5v5 though. Glacial Prison goes in, and that's the Lilia down immediately. Ash soon to follow, and the Jinx is already excited. Yes, you have two tanky members on the side of Placeholder, but your two squishies just got blown up. Threats looking for the steal is not going to find it. That's Ace Together Strong's Baron, and 3 kills for free. They're starting to take over this game.
Yeah, second big fight win. Thank you for the leash, PhD. They started up the Baron, got quite far, but 4k HP. Ape teammate popped the trigger, and they get a good execution. Leah dies instantly. The other members are also get taken down. Scion contesting.
Yeah,
looks like
even without literally any magic resist bot at all, still has enough health to survive everything that the Annie can throw at him. But we talked about this in the early game from Apes Together Strong. Yes, they're weak in the early mid game. They're weak to these pick compositions, but if they can fight as 5, they just kind of roll over Team Placeholder, and they seem to have realized that in the last couple minutes as Azonia's from the Annie.
Back up from Ape, getting their support and jungle in, and saving the Annie there.
I think that may have cursed him, because I did ask him if he was 4, 3, and 5 if he would be dying again this game. And he is now 4, 6, and 7. More deaths than even assists that he's contributed to in the last few minutes of play. Definitely not what you want to see. I mean, the Scion, not super strong on his own, and that's kind of where he's been found over the last few plays. Together Strong, able to keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, it's somewhat of a split push Scion, which is, like you said, not his biggest strength. I'd like it to be more teamfight focused, or at least, try to get him in. Try to focus yourself on team fights and objectives instead of just doing stuff on your own without added team pressure even. Dragon should be coming up soon. Mid is somewhat contested, but yeah, don't expect any danger yet. Ahri on the flank though.
Flanking Ahri. Let's just burn the ultimate to get in and get out. I don't think that's the play you're looking for from Team Placeholder. Yes, you're looking for picks, but that's a Jinx in between 2 beefy members, and there's really nothing to be found in that play.
Yeah, definitely would have liked a lot more damage to at least 1 or 2 members, but a bit of a whiff on the ulti. It's not the biggest cooldown, so no real issue there, but still, yeah, decent attempt. Didn't get you anywhere yet. And it looks like, PhD are not exactly willing to contest. They're around with 3 members, but yeah, just getting your farm on top and mid lane and both side lanes. Ape have
it's just so difficult.
Control.
If Apes Together Strong have first setup on an objective, it's very difficult for Placeholder to find their way in. They have the Tibbers, they have the Glacial Prison, they have so many tools that if you step into them, you're just going to get caught and blown up. But they really have to set up a forward objective, find picks. That's what they tried to do in the mid lane, so props to them there, but just nowhere near enough at this stage of the game.
No, Scion getting the ulti out though. Willie looks like he's gonna end up surviving. Smart, okay. Smart stuff. Ulti's out the wrong way, however, gets the next wave. No threat there, no enemies there, and gets him out. The ulti as a use the ult as a safety or just an escape button.
Yeah, absolutely. Four item Scion now officially picking up the Frozen Heart, as well as the completed Thornmail from earlier. Very strong, absolutely, but you don't even have 2 items on your own AD carry at this point. It's 3.5 from the opposing team, so if these two teams ever meet in a 5v5, you know which way it's going. That Scion's not going to be the difference maker. I'll have to see if Team Placeholder can find another pick here before the next objective comes up. It'll be the Baron in a minute and a half. Both these teams should be looking to establish vision. There's already a little bit deep from Placeholder, but I don't know if it's going to be enough quite yet.
Yeah, I'm not that sure either. I think it's they might be funneling a bit too much gold towards the Scion, or just
this could
flash
be a
out
pick.
any. Good.
Has to burn the Zonias,
okay.
but gonna get caused by the decimating smash. And that's just all the damage that you need. Finally a kill, but nearly traded back.
As well. Yeah, okay.
Good response from Apes together strong. Ari does go down. Scion forced to heroically charge away, and yeah, it's ultimately just a 1-for-1, a trade of mid laners.
Yeah, PhD attempted the pick. They hard engaged on the Annie, tried to get it, and he played it at least, played it well. Good Sonya timing, dropping the charm as well as trying to stay alive as long as she could. Team backup came. They traded a 1-for-1, and yeah, definitely Ape favored in the end. The Ari still had a shutdown, added 1k gold. Pretty sure it went to the Jinx, so even more ahead now.
Certainly is, and looks like Olaf might be at the point in the game where he feels comfortable taking the Scion on 1v1. He's 3 items to 4, but he has the Black Cleaver. That's plenty of lifesteal. Yeah, Scion forced to run away from the bot lane for the second time in what feels like 2 minutes. Just not able to create the kind of pressure he was earlier this game.
It didn't fully go away though. Scion going back to the wave. Will the Olaf also cancel the base? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Yeah. Scion has somewhat been outskilled item-wise. I mean, you're only building armor so far, and armor penetration is your biggest enemy if that's the case.
And the Thornmail will help you defer a little bit of the healing from the Olaf, but there's just so much in his kit that he feels comfortable taking that fight regardless.
Pick at them.
So now Team APE
done.
Able to find the pick themselves. That's not what you want to see. Teleport into the middle of the team from the Scion. I don't know if this is going to turn the fight. The Glacial Prison is perfect onto the Ari. Doesn't go down quite yet, though. It's now Lily on the backside of the fight. The Jinx is under threat. Is able to flash out and run away. Ash and Ari on the other side of the fight. The Ash forced to flash out. It's chaos all over the fight. Both teams' carries getting a little bit more caught than they would like, but ultimately it's just 1 kill in favor of Apes together strong. They're onto the Baron.
Multiple small fights happening, but nothing really getting done except for the trash kill initially. Very split fight from both teams, but it ends up being a Baron secure for the Ape side. Yeah, somewhat attempted contest from the Lilia, but no shot if you're not being able to get into the pit.
Yeah, Scion playing split push in the mid lane is able to get some solid pressure on the mid lane inhibitor turret, but looks like he may trade his life for the pleasure. The Annie's not going to go down here, and that's a 5v1. You're not living through that, brother. He does finally go down. Minions are cleared out. There's not going to be any more threat on this mid lane tower, and plays continue to go in favor. Apes together strong.
I'm not sure when Scion will either change his pace or just... I don't think he will. I think he will continue trying to split push, or at least, get stuff done on his own. And if Ape just answer, they get the punish, they get the kill.
Interesting that it looks like he sold his Sunfire Cape for the... Oh, I always forget the name of this item.
The
Follow Radiance.
Right? It's... Oh, yeah. Okay.
It's
Dragon's
not necessarily efficient. I mean, he was looking for the magic resist to survive the Annie. We did see do a surprising amount of damage to him earlier, but I mean, you have things like Kana Crookard you could go for as your last item unless you have something else in mind. So I think that's just a golden efficient play from his side. Oh, the zap lands onto the Ash. This is almost certainly 2 kills. Goes down to the Braum. The Jinx picks up the second, and Apes together strong, now fully in control. They're looking to push onto the base from key placeholder.
Yeah, good punish from Ape. Ash and Thresh tried to contest the tower take, but yeah, no shot if you're very outmanned, trying to contest on your own. Any flashing, good initiation. Ooh, okay, Zonya's
nice play on the Lilia.
Lilia is done.
Yeah, this is all Team Ape. There's just nothing Boulder can do. As soon as one of them steps up, they get blown up by a different member of Apes Together Strong. Locked up, knocked down. The Scion now in the back line, but that's just not where you want to be. He goes down once again, and Apes Together Strong may just be looking to end here.
Sonya's on the Ahri. Ahri might be dead still. Yeah, good punish, good stuff. They're somewhat tanking the tower though, but it's not dealing a lot of damage. Jinx gets the extra kill, which should be... Okay. Should be the end of the game. 16 on 4, biggest carry on Ape's side, versus the 15 on 3 Ahri, which sadly didn't... Yeah, it wasn't enough, it seems.
A sloppy game number 1 you can say from Apes Together Strong, but they are able to pull it out in the end. The placeholder, they found what they wanted to do in the early game. They were able to create a significant advantage, a solid gold lead by 16 minutes, but it just wasn't enough. Once we saw those 5v5s start to happen, they consistently went in favor of Apes Together Strong. They played out their composition the way that they needed to, able to find some solid fights. They got the Jinx extraordinarily fed and was able to just carry the game in spite of the Fed sign on the other side. Game 1 of playoffs going in favor of Apes Together Strong. We'll see if Team Placeholder are able to turn it around for Game 2, or if Apes Together Strong will continue their dominant zone. everybody to the Sunday Cup, where Apes Together Strong just took the first game of playoffs against Team Placeholder. We'll see if Team Placeholder can come back in the second game, or if it will just be a swift 2-0 from Apes Together Strong. We saw the Jinx composition absolutely able to pop off towards the mid to late game there. Apes Together Strong knowing their win conditions, so we'll have to see how Team Placeholder respond to the draft. It was the first pick Jinx. Apes Together Strong knew their strategy coming in, so we'll see how each of these teams adapt and see what the side selection is going to be for game 2.
Yeah, I hope PhD look for an answer, or at least maybe if they run back the same comp, which could have worked against a single target like Hyperfat Jinx. They definitely have to change how they pull it off. If they want to answer a fat member, they should be focusing them better, just trying to hard focus and get them down, or at least get them behind a lot during the game. Possibly a different strategy in terms of bans, maybe even different strategy in terms of picks, like the entire team comp. Both teams were solid, but yeah, Ape definitely had the better late game, and it showed. They popped off.
Absolutely. We'll see if there's any change in the ban strategies. It was the Zeri, the Zac, and the Viego that were banned by Team Placeholder the first time around, but you have to think the team fighting AD carries maybe kind of fresh in their mind as things they want to deny. So we'll see if the Viego gets replaced with the Jinx, or if there are other adaptations that they're looking to make, as we do get into picks and bans. Apes Together Strong on the blue side again, PhD on the red. Molder and Zeri, the first two bans, Vex the third, nothing different here so far.
Exactly the same so far, and okay, we're getting the same 6 bans. Yeah, both teams, and especially PhD, think they have it right. They still think it's the Zeri and the Zac and Viego bans. First pick Jinx on Ape again. Okay, so Ape are Ape are sure Jinx is the answer.
Both these teams saying they came in with the right read. We saw both of them have fairly strong points in the last game, but only one of them won, and it was Apes Together Strong in a very decisive fashion once they got the ball rolling. So we'll see if Team Placeholder are able to put this Jinx behind this game, or if it will be kind of the same story for them again this game. We'll see how they change up their picks to answer, though, and it will be the Ashen response. I don't think the Ashe was necessarily the issue last game, but it definitely wasn't a strength. We saw it set behind a fair bit in CS, obviously 2.5 to 3 items there towards the end of the game, where the Jinx was up to 3.5 of her own. That's just not what you need from a character that can be that kind of late game hyper carry if you do get it fed, but Placeholder weren't able to do so in spite of all the kills. They do, however, change up their support with the Melio.
Meteor combined with the Ashe, that's definitely a different pairing. I would have liked a Braum steal, to be entirely honest, like just taking the Braum away and getting the free stun setup. Also helped Jinx self-peel a lot, besides the good Braum ultis or just Braum defense. It's Braum again for the Ape side, so solid, same bot lane combination, Jinx and Braum going, and yeah, good stuff, smart play. I'm not sure if PhD have the answer, but I am interested to see if they can pull it off. Ari pick for Ape side, now that's a good steal if I'm seeing one. Good stuff there, actually changing and stealing it away. How will PhD answer this time?
Yeah, I like this from both these teams. Team Placeholder with Emilio, kind of indicating that they're looking more towards those late game fights. They want some of that CC mitigation against what we saw last game from Apes Together Strong was the Braum Sejuani on 2-3, but Apes Together Strong then responding, having seen the Emilio, that Sejuani's probably not going to be the pick that they're looking for. It is the Ari mid, but it's answered by the Nefiri. We do get to see it for Team Placeholder.
The spicy Neferi pick, yeah. Mamui has been known on it previously, and it's just like the RLS game. It happened to pop off. I'm not sure if I've seen the Ari Neferi common or at least matchup before in mid lane, but if they want to pick into it, they should know it's a good one, no?
Here's hoping. I mean, you got to think that the player who's strong on the champion knows their matchups, so I will defer to their judgment. I've seen this champion maybe 4 times in my life, and all of those were in ARAMs. We'll have to see if the Nefiri is able to get things going or not. Definitely a champion that you want to invest some resources into. So we'll have to see what jungler they pair up with it.
Generally very
As far
good
as
sets,
bans.
and so yeah, bans wise, we're seeing Sejuani from PhD side, so no Sejuani this game. They also banned the Volibear, which is just like they did last game, or at least second rotation bans last game. Garen banned from Ape again, as well as the Lilia. So no more Lilia. They're ban wise 2 changes, but still pretty good changes. Getting rid of the Lilia for PhD, as well as the Sejuani for Ape side. So no more of those in the jungle.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised to see the Sejuani ban from team placeholder because the Melio is just such a good. Oh, I can barely finish that thought. Melio is such a good answer into the Sejuani that they probably didn't need to ban it. I don't think Team Ape were going to pick it, but Diana locked in for team placeholder. Is that going to be a Diana jungle?
I'm hoping it is. It would be blind pick Diana topside otherwise, which I'm not really sure is an option. Quite spicy,
Ooh.
and a fairy Diana and or jungle mid combination.
Ivern locked in for Apes Together Strong. Another solid team fight pick. Buffs up the Jinx in those late game fights, but isn't the CC reliant. So I think it's a perfect jungler answer into what you've seen from team placeholder. It's very good the Emilio pick that we saw earlier. I like it a lot. They're going to have to blind pick their top side unless it is the Diana. And Renekton, strong, steady, and safe. I like it.
Yeah, good stuff. Good solid pick. There, I was almost afraid to be telling a kind of low damage team come from Ape. The Renekton somewhat rounds it out, a bit more AD, good bruiser, so not really very low damage. Decent frontline as well. Malphite from PhD on the other hand, a full tank top laner again from Alchemy. Yeah, likely going. Likely going full tank again. Possibly, will it be the same strategy? So split pushing again, equally strong and trying to get his own advantages.
Can I just say how much I love these teams' drafting ability? I think these are both phenomenal drafts in their own right. Team placeholder, they pick up the Diana and the Malphite in the last 2 picks on red side, which both fare extremely well within the Fury. They're setting up a very solid dive threat on those 3 members, plus the Ashe in the backline and the Melio to support. Whereas Team Ape, they respond fairly well to what's being put together by placeholder. They've got 3 potential threats. Yes, the Jinx is the hyper carry that you want to get fed, you want to buff up with the Ivern, but Ahri's no slouch. We saw that last game, and Renekton in his own right can pick off 1 or 2 members. So both teams changing up what they need to, I think, anticipating each other's changes and responding accordingly. We'll have to see who's able to come out on top. Personally, I favor team placeholder with the 3-person dive. They should be able to pick off 1 or 2 people in those fights, which we saw how impactful it was last game for Team Ape, who were doing the same thing, but remains to be seen.
Yeah, it looks quite equal, although there's definitely different champions. The execution will somewhat be the same. I think it's still PhD's game to lose if they, or at least PhD have the pistol. They have the opportunity to get the kills, dive the Jinx or Ahri, whoever is fed, and like get a good execution and a very solid team fight start, or just wombo combo going. However, if they happen to fail for whatever reason, I think Ape is gonna take it away again. They have still have a solid team comp, less of a hard engage instant combo, a bit slower, but still good scaling. It's good solid drafts from both sides, but somewhat necessary changes. Good adaptations for both.
And I find myself once again having questions about how the early game jungling is going to play out from team placeholder. We saw that the Lilia was able to be very effective last game. Now on the Diana, who really needs level 6 to be able to do what she wants to do, and not as good setup in the top lane or the mid lane either with the Malphite and the Nefiri. It seems like it's going to be hard to create any sort of action in those lanes, and the Melio's not really the kind of setup support that the Thresh was either. So unless there are solo pop-offs from the side of placeholder, it's hard for me to see how they're going to be able to create at least very early game advantages until that level 6 mark is hit. Whereas Apes Together Strong, the Ivern, he's not the best ganker in the game, but can definitely set up with his Q or root onto the enemy. That'll set up very nicely for an Ari charm, set up very nicely for the Chompers from Jinx. So you got to think that at least the very early stages of this game should favor Apes Together Strong, but we'll see if that ends up actually being the case.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking at the laners, there's Jinx Chompers, but also Braum Stun, Ari Charm, as well as Renekton Stun, Renekton W. There's a lot of setup on the P or on the Ape side, and a lot less on PhD. I'm somewhat expecting a slower early game this time, and yeah, maybe PhD just staying away from fights altogether, trying to get their items or at least their level 6s and first item in before they actually start contesting stuff, if they just want to be safe, and yeah, call it a day until mid game.
100%. Now, I'm an entirely unbiased observer, but I do love League of Legends. So I am hoping that we do see a team placeholder win so that we can go to all 3 games, but we are seeing what each of these players picked up for their runes on screen. It was the Comet from the Malphite, so definitely going for that lane-focused build. The Conqueror from the Diana is interesting, definitely going more towards what I would assume to be a later game fight rather than the Execute that you could use for some of the earlier pressure. But I am not as familiar with this champion in the jungle anymore. I'll have to see what the build's going to be and how she ends up going for it. First strike on the Nefiri. Gotta love to see it. Definitely indicates that this Nefiri is going to be going in.
Yeah, but just good solid run choices. I think the Conqueror Diana might even attend to a somewhat bruiser build on Diana. Maybe even partially tanky with just a Nurse's Tooth as the only damage item. Quite normal, or at least expected, rune choices on other champions. Guardian on the Braum again. The mid lane Ari had Electrocute, Ashe with the Lethal Tempo again, Meteor with Airy, as well as the Ivern jungle also running the Airy, and yeah, Lethal Tempo on Jinx. Solid, but expected. So yeah, good stuff.
Maybe stock standard across the board. I like the Ultimate Hunter from the Ashe. I think we saw that the Ashe in the last game just wasn't the carry threat that team placeholder wanted it to be towards the later stages, and doesn't necessarily need to be in this game with the 3-person dive that they created. So just having that shorter cooldown on the arrow, be able to set up picks for yourselves is probably a smart call.
Yeah, if the arrow lands, anyone from the wombo combo can start and follow up if you really want to. But I think the arrow can just be a anytime go button. Maybe look for a fight, start with the arrow, and either that or try to get people to back away and funnel them into a small corridor for the full Diana Malphite wombo combo.
And it's good to see both these teams draft multiple potential tools for themselves, as you mentioned with the Malphite, the Diana, and the Ashe for the side of placeholder. You've got the Renekton, who needs to go face first in order to get a stun down, but is able to find a flank, obviously with a teleport. That'll be an extraordinarily good tool. You've got the Ivern Q, you've got the Braum, you've got an Ari Charm, so multiple tools for both of these teams to set up. Of course, the Melio is fairly good at disengage, and the Braum can cover for his carry, so they're going to need to use all of them if they want to take a fight for themselves. So we'll see how it plays out in game.
Yeah, change in pace for the Ashe though. I think I didn't see the cleanse last game. Now indeed has taken the cleanse against the Braum. It's sometimes it's necessary, but in case of Braum, Ivern Q, Ari Charm, it's definitely a good call. Jinx running the Ghost, however, so yeah, no defense there, just added movement speed, or at least possible defense, possible offense even, if you really want to like it. Double TP on both sides, and Neferi as well, which is slightly surprising. It's not as aggressive as you could expect, but could have also been Ignite, although, maybe a bit too over-aggressive if you're talking competitive play.
Yeah, seems to indicate that it'll just have less lane power. Won't have the threat of the Ignite against the Ahri, but we'll be able to look for flanks towards the late game. That's really what Nefiri needs. She's so easy to interrupt just by literally standing in front of your allies. So if she's not able to find the right angle onto the Jinx or onto the Ahri, then it's going to be very hard for this Nefiri to have any impact in later fights. So take the teleport, try and find those angles later in the game, assuming placeholder can get down the vision that they need to. And this game, we do have a little bit early game, at least roaming Phoenix together strong, but not going to find anything more than a couple wards.
Yeah, possible, or at least somewhat attempted ward down or getting some info from Ape side this time. Also, someone from PhD, I think it was the Neferi, warded the enemy blue, so info on the start from the Ivern as well. Besides that, quite standard. A bit more aggression than last game.
We do have a mirrored start for the junglers, both starting on their blue buff, whereas last time both were looking to move up towards the top side. I think this Ivern is going to be looking for some action on the bot lane if he can get it. I do like the cleanse from the Ashe for that reason. You don't want to be giving early kills over to the Jinx. It's a very good summoner spell if you do have to get caught by the Braum, by the Ivern. Just get yourself out of the lane. Don't give over any early kills. That's all you need it for. Yes, the Ghost is a little bit better in late game fights, but we saw last game with the Ashe, you really just need to focus on not getting the Jinx fed. That is the clear priority for the summoner spell selection.
You need the safety indeed, and just getting the Ghost or having your Ghost up and activated while you're being hard CC'd isn't gonna do anything. You're gonna be dead either way, and Cleanse actually gets you out and gives you the necessary safety against any hard CC.
Certainly does. Mid lane already looking in favor of the Ahri, landing just about every spell onto Nefiri. Not what you want to see from the early game quite yet, but obviously Nefiri did have the push, so is able to just fall back in lane and wait for me to come back to them.
Yeah, good punish. I mean, Ahri always or will always have the range advantage, so a lot easier to get the poke off as long as Neferi keeps the gold or at least the minions equal. She will bite back later on, or when items hit, she will definitely should be hitting harder than the Ahri does. Up until that point, keep the pressure up on Ahri's side and keep the damage going.
Yeah, it's interesting to see the longsword and rejuvenating potion start from the Nefiri. Longsword and 3 pots will give you a little bit more sustain in at least the initial laning phase, give you time to teleport back, but
slightly
I'm willing to trust.
but
Looks like potential gank into the mid lane, both junglers around, but I don't think either of them is going to be able to find an advantage there.
no, both junglers full cleared, took the Scuttle Crab on their own side, and yeah, looking for a mid gank, but neither one is willing to pull the trigger.
Meanwhile, on the top lane, this lane going decidedly better for Owlkami, so I'm getting pressured quite a bit last game, but now the Diana's up top. Flashed out from the Renekton, but it's just not enough. The E reset and first blood over to the Diana jungle. We had questions about the early game, but they have already been answered.
Good punish and possible bait even by the Malphite. Renekton took it, double dashed in, and yeah, you're not getting away from there. And not sure if the flash was necessary. In the end, I think Renekton would have liked to keep it, knowing you were gonna die anyway. Still, good punish from Diana's side. Just running top lane, waiting for the enemy top laner to make a mistake and capitalize on it.
Yeah, definitely good to see. We saw the Diana go mid and then top, so needed to get some sort of advantage going with all the time spent looking for ganks, and is able to do so. And when you have an AP carry like this in the jungle, having as much gold as them, definitely what you want to see happening. So once again, team placeholder, able to find what they wanted to do in the early game so far.
Yeah, good stuff. Diana running items as well. The possible gank on mid lane. Yeah.
Back towards mid, but the Ivern's there to answer. Does land the root, but just going to disengage. It's looking a lot like last game already. We could barely finish talking about one play before these teams are looking for another.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fighting. I'm not sure if Renekton really likes his trade with the minions working against him as well. No one on
Bramble,
the objectives though.
Oh, engage in from the Nefiri. The ult forced out from Ari, just with the pressure from the basic spell from the Nefiri. So seeing the power of this pick in the isolation when you don't have an ally there to kind of act with you, the Nefiri can have a lot of power.
Good stuff from Nefiri indeed. We're getting the Dragon take from Ape side though, so using their bot lane pressure to rotate into a free objective. Mid lane is losing but still holding on, so no roaming there towards the dragon, which good flash. Ooh, almost got punished and ended up dead. The Melio there, if he didn't flash.
Yeah, a bit of cheeky positioning from Roban. Just looking to see where the enemy was, see if they were pushing in, but looked a little bit too closely and nearly got punished for it. He was able to flash out, but that is a down summoner spell that could look to be punished. And now the Fury going in onto the Ahri. There's no mana, but the Ivern Shield comes in to prevent the bleed from getting the kill. Solid awareness from the Ape Together Strong jungler keeps his mid laner alive.
Good stuff there. Saves the Ahri again. It ends up costing the flash, but anything to keep you alive and not let the Nefiri snowball. Good answer and good presence for him indeed.
Absolutely. We do see Malphite coming down onto the grubs, trying to force out the Apes Together Strong jungler. Could just be an easy 3-for in favorite team placeholder. It is the 3v3 if Apes Together Strong won it. Looks like they do. They do have the health advantage at this point, but that's 2 grubs already down. They're next and forced away by the Malphite. And the best placeholder can do is grab one. Diana goes in but gets charmed up, nearly dies, and does go down to the Ahri. So it will be 1 grub in favor of Apes Together Strong. It looked favorable for team placeholder, but they just got 2 split up.
Yeah, they didn't have the Diana ulti yet, as well as Diana just tanking the Void Grubs for quite a while, getting very low and eventually just get punished. Ape roaming and getting the full kill there is definitely good awareness and a good punish by them. 1 grub, but mainly the jungle kill.
Well, Alchemy being forced out of the top lane does have the teleport, so we'll be able to make it back to lane quickly if he wants, but also has the push, so could just see him save that summoner spell and walk towards his turret. It's a slight CS lead, could just even that up if you wanted to, but now we'll play the summoner spell.
Still or TPing top lane. The Malphite also had the ulti last in the grub fight, but not sure why he didn't pull the trigger. He could have tried to, or at least, yeah, I think PhD just didn't want to fight. They wanted to get the objective and get away after, seeing that they were getting outmanned.
Yeah, you kind of respect it with the Diana looking for 6. Want to save it for potentially a follow-up play towards the top side, but we haven't seen placeholder play around that at this point. Diana potentially looking towards bot side, but it's just going to go onto the grub. With the Jinx recalled back to base, so not a whole lot of a play to be found there.
And no pressure there. Blue side bot lane just basing, getting out safely. Now blades, or at least some good tower damage from the Ashe Emilio. Item wise, as well as no. Item wise, they're somewhat equal, although there's a definite close to 20 CS advantage for the Jinx. Not exactly popping off or really getting ahead yet, but good start. Quite a slow kill game as well. It's just 1-1.
Yeah, do have a little bit of a skirmish in the top side river. Diana going into the Renekton and the Ivern. Ivern gets blown up with the ultimate from Malphite. The Renekton's just not able to get enough done. That's a kill over to the Nefiri. The Ahri is out here in no man's land. They'd be able to get back to his turret. Malphite forced to flash out, but the Nefiri is able to clean up a kill on the back. A double kill for the Nefiri, and that's some early kills that you wanted to see from this assassin.
Malphite barely getting out. Good flash there, as well as just peeling and baiting until he really needed to get out. The Fury is, just a single item, but already showing that it's quite a solid assassin. Just the front up or upfront damage from the Fury is gonna be a dangerous thing later into the game.
We're already seeing that if Team Placeholder are able to layer the Unstoppable Force with the Diana ultimate, they can get those kills. It was only on to 2 members of Apes Together Strong, but it's more than enough. Just keeps them knocked up, damaged for long enough to pick up the first kill and the second, and there's just not enough of a response from Apes Together Strong in that situation.
Good stuff.
Level 6 turns out pretty good from Team Placeholder's composition.
Yeah, good, solid all-in or just hard engage. Pressure from Ape's side though, looking towards the Diana, although, yeah, okay, Diana gets away.
Yeah, they're just trying to establish vision to make sure this Dragon Take is safe. I think they should just be able to get it. Team Placeholder. They don't have a teleport on the Malphite, and their Renekton does have his, so if they do opt into the fight, it could be risky. Although the Renekton, getting low in the top lane, won't be able to join a fight if there is one, but it is just going to be the safe Dragon Take from the side of Apes Together Strong.
Dragon takes from the Malphite, looking to punish with flash out. Okay. Good stuff. Would have been very dead otherwise with the knock-up and just Braum damage. Malphite trying to punish top lane and really get himself ahead. All in on mid lane. Ariel
just
out.
A solid trade.
Safety first.
I didn't think about the Nefiri. It's not so reliant on the ultimate to be able to make exchanges happen. Once you do have your Q and your E up, you can just look for a double Q, and that means the trade is basically won as long as you don't get full comboed by the enemy. So nice play in the mid lane.
Yeah, solid stuff there. It's 2 grubs already for PhD side. Sorry, 3 grubs. All of them are gone. It's 5-1, so yeah, advantage for PhD there.
Yeah, it looks like Emilio wanting to start a fight with the Jinx is able to cancel the back. Looked like he wanted more, but just creating more pressure on the bottom side. Solid play. Always like to see a tempo advantage gained, and that's exactly what you see there on the bot side. The Jinx just forced to hang out for now until the Braum rejoins. There's a fight on the top side. Diana going extremely low against 3 members of Apes Together Strong. They were able to have the advantage, but does get caught by the Ivern Charm and comboed down. Kill goes over to Ivern, but Malphite ults back in. The Ahri goes extremely low, kept alive for a little while by the Ivern shield, but does go down in the end. Now the Ivern forced to retreat. And the Fury, meanwhile, fighting on the backside against the Renekton. Yes, this Renekton's healthy, but that's against 2 members now from Apes Together Strong. Does go down to about 50% HP. He's in the wrong enemy jungle. Looks to get a little bit of damage back, but that's another kill down. Alchemy on a rampage, and PhD come up trumps again on the top side.
Good stuff and good fighting. A very scrappy fight, but the hard chase from Ape, trying to get the kill on the Diana and barely end up getting it. And hard punish from PhD afterwards. Malphite getting a really good fight, as well as the Neferi just assist after assist, getting extra gold going.
Absolutely, Sunfire completed for the Malphite already on the top side. I will say, I hope he doesn't sell it. I would like to see that stay in the inventory this game and eventually go for a Kato Crooked a little bit earlier if he feels that he needs that magic damage protection, which he probably will. Ivern for a bit of a trade here, but this finds 50% of its health bar in return. Alchemy gets engaged on by the Renekton, but he's able to slice and not able to dice because he didn't hit an enemy. So there's just not enough of a threat, and the Malphite's able to walk back under his tower.
Yeah, almost at least over aggression from the Malphite. Looking to punish though with the Neferi, dash in, double Q.
Yeah, and that's just a dead Renekton. Very solid heads-up play, able to come back onto the top side. Gets together strong. Felt they were at advantage, but as I say that, bot side, the Jinx goes extraordinarily low and will die to the teleport of the Neferi. Braum goes down as well, and this Ahri is not long for this world. That is 4 kills over to the Neferi. A quadra kill if you count the Renekton on the top side, and that is just incredible play from Team Placeholder, able to collapse.
Wow. Just wow. Very good TP from the Neferi, getting the flank off, getting the hard punish, and cleaning up the fight entirely. PhD already had a good start, but just adding the Neferi damage really makes a difference there and gets them the easy fight win.
Yeah, I can't even remember the last time I saw a teleport quadra. Someone picks up a kill on one side of the map and then goes down immediately for 3 more, but this Neferi able to get it done. Also looking very strong on this pick, and that's what you want to see. This Neferi's going to have to create work in the late game, picking off either the Ahri or the Jinx, as we've said, and it's going to be easier and easier to do that with the gold. Already 2 items completed, working towards a third versus 1 and not even boots from the opposing mid laner. That is a very strong lead.
And not looking entirely equal there, but still, that's the gold difference and mainly the kill difference as well in the mid lane if you compare them. Still good item difference. I'm seeing a very solid early to mid game from PSD again. Hard engage,
Good arrow from the Ashe onto the Jinx, but solid response so far from Apes Together Strong. Malphite, though, ult into the backside. Jinx down to about 30% HP, but there's just not enough follow-up under that tower. Remember, Apes Together Strong are looking a little bit worse for wear. They do want to defend this mid lane turret, but the Neferi looking on the other side. Teleport in from the Renekton. See if he's able to get enough done. Malphite diving in. Neferi forced to flash out. Another teleport coming in. This time it's the Renekton. The Ahri was the first one. He's able to get the stun onto the Ashe, forces the cleanse out. Melio ultimate as well, but the Ashe just gets locked up, knocked down. That's a kill over in favor of Apes Together Strong. Malphite looking to make something happen on the backside, but he is alone. Cloud Drake, in the meantime, goes down in favor of Team Placeholder. The Diana was on that. Renekton onto the Fury, looking to get the kill, but the Fury should be safe. Malphite now again in the backside. 3 blinking health bars for Apes Together Strong. 1 goes down. It's the Ivern, the Braum, short to follow. Jinx forced to retreat under the tower, but that's a very strong Malphite, able to take up the tower and get the kill. Continues to put pressure on the Ahri. It's a triple kill for the Malphite, and Team Placeholder, again, it's scrappy, it's all over the place, but they come out on top of the fight.
Yeah, once again, PhD getting the better end of the fight. I don't think they even lost a single man. They did, however, get the dragon indeed, because Diana was during the fight just completing the dragon, getting the objectives in.
Yeah, we did see Apes Together Strong overcommit for the Ashe kill. They did get that to kick off the fight, but that's not the strong member from Team Placeholder. We saw that last game. We saw that this game too. That's not the threat. The Ashe is an arrow bot, and that's about all you need for this game. You've got the very fed top and mid, relatively fed jungle as well. If those members survive, it's just 3 fights for Team Placeholders. Again, the Malphite goes in. This is an extremely quick kill onto the Jinx. Just gets caught. Alchemy goes legendary. 18 minutes into the game, and Team Placeholder pick up the Rift Herald to boot.
Yeah, very admirable fight. It took a while for Jinx last game to start damaging the Scion, but I think it's gonna take even longer, and maybe not even this game, that the Malphite is getting damaged by a Jinx or any other carry. For that sake, no. Possible tower dive attempt, although, yeah, PSD are not really liking this fight. Or are
Team
they?
Placeholder. They do send the Malphite around. We did see this from them last game. We saw them create strong plays. We saw them get incredible advantages in the top, in the mid, but they did still lose to the Jinx in the late game. It's a little bit of a different story this time. The Jinx being 0-3-1 has 156 CS, so not bad in the CS department, but just not in the same carry position. And Team Placeholder, you have to think they're starting to run away with it.
Yeah, it's 10 and a bit, 10.4k gold lead, so very big advantage there. Jinx is, just
too far forward.
4.
The team we called, they thought they were safe, but the Diana grabs that kill with the Crescent Blade. Malphite may be traded in response, doesn't have the flash, but I don't even know. Does have the ultimate, able to get it onto the Ivern, the Melio ultimate, able to disengage the Ashe, walk it away as well. They are able to protect the president, and the Malphite does not give over his 700 gold bounty.
Vargos fight. good attempt, at least from Ape, but didn't really end up landing it with Malphite coming up. And yeah, him getting out, using the ulti, getting to safety, as well as the team just backing up and getting into the darkness of the jungle for Ape.
And you got to wonder how Ace Together Strong are going to try and find a way back into this game. Baron has spawned. Could be the next objective that Team Placeholder are looking into, but it seems like it's almost impossible to fight into that. You just don't have the tools to be able to collapse on Team Placeholder if they start that objective up. And with the Malphite up that should be coming off of cooldown shortly, Diana ultimate with the Ash arrow, there are just so many tools that can stop you in your tracks and turn the fight onto you if Placeholder disengage from the Baron. So it's looking tough and a struggle to see how Ace Together Strong are going to be able to find this.
Yeah, I don't think it's really possible for Ape side this game, sadly. The gold difference is starting to... it's only been growing since PhD really got their hands on a gold lead. And yeah, at this point it might just be too much, which could mean a possible game 3 and a next game, or at least another chance for Ape to actually take it away.
Well, we do see the Ahri lands the charm onto the Ash, but it's immediately cleansed. And again, that's not the key carry that you're looking for. Malphite ult onto 3. It's a 3v4 at this point, but more members who joining the fight. Fury into the back line does take out the Ash, the Ahri. It's a kill over to the Ash. Renekton is able to finally take the Ash down, and Jinx gets excited. That's a kill onto the support. The Diana's just not there. Jinx looking to chase down more members, flashes forward, but Diana finally rejoins. There's an ultimate onto 3, but it doesn't hit onto the Jinx. You needed that critical member, and finally Ace Together Strong do find the fight. The Fury forced to run, re-engages back onto the Jinx, but will just go very low for the trouble. Oh, the last tower shot gets it, though. Maui goes legendary. Just outplays at the end of the fight. What looked so good for Ace Together Strong ends on a bit of a sour note.
Yeah, Jinx is not gonna be happy. That's a very, very close death when you're actually looking towards an Nefari kill, trying to get the tower diver at least to let auto attacks off. Just didn't end up having the damage. Dragon attempt mistake. Yeah, Malphite teleport in. He doesn't have the ulti yet though, but it's okay. Also when teleport from Ahri, it's big contest, another big team fight. No
yeah,
Jinx
I haven't had the fight, but looks like it's just going to go down. Alchemy gets basically the solo kill on the backside. Renekton tried to create work on the back end, but Mamui gets another kill. Is able to secure the dragon as well, and the Renekton goes down to the Ash. Ace Together Strong feeling a little bit strong on the map because they were able to take the fight, but Team Placeholder is still fairly early in this game. They respawn, they collapse on the dragon, and they pick up 4.
Yeah, sadly fumbled by Ape indeed. They're, definitely not back, or I mean, they're not out of the game, but they're very behind still and get hard punished for the dragon take, or at least the heads up play. PhD looking to secure the Baron now and just continue their lead, try to basically set up a possible game end play in a couple minutes using the Baron buff, I hope.
And if there is a glimmer of hope for Apes Together Strong, it's that the siege composition from Team Placeholder is basically non-existent. They kind of have to engage and find the fight if they want to win. We saw that go fairly poorly for them last time, but it was a 4v5 under the enemy's inhibitor tower that is the reason that Apes Together Strong were able to take that. The Jinx was able to get excited. If the Diana is there next time, I don't know that it goes as well. Now we're already in favor of Team Placeholder off this Baron. Alchemy forced to retreat in the top side. Maybe getting a little bit greedy for that, but does have the seismic shard, is able to just walk it out.
Yeah, you're not that easily getting the Malphite as long as he's able to queue, and you're just on your own as the Renekton. No, the item difference still very big. Not sure.
Yeah, Alchemy's sitting at just a few hundred HP and still feels strong, but does have the support of his team. Ultimate onto the Renekton goes down. Mamui is thoroughly legendary at this point in the game. That's another pick for Team Placeholder, and that's kind of what they needed. Meanwhile, Diana looking for a play onto the Ahri in the side lane. Not able to land the ultimate with the ultimate in response from the Ahri, but is able to create a little bit more pressure as the team continues to look for more pressure in the top side. And the Jinx is able to clear out these minions relatively easily, so if there isn't a pick from Team Placeholder, Team Placeholder is I struggle to think how they're going to be able to break open the space, even at this point.
Yeah, they really need the execute, and they need to combo the Diana or Malphite to really get a pick and break open the base. It's hard for them to engage, like you said. Baron minions do a decent amount, but just not a doesn't do enough if you can't really push the towers.
Looks like they're able to find a little bit of pressure in the mid lane. That inhibitor tower going fairly low, just with the pressure from the Ashe. The Void Grub makes sure the Braum Q doesn't connect. Which keeps the Ashe safe, and Malphite split push continues to be effective. Diana just taking her sweet time in the enemy jungle, and that will be a tower taken down in the mid lane. Looks like there's just enough on the siege creep to be able to break the base open. So at the same time, Renekton just falls in the bot side. I barely even saw how that happened. Now the Fury looking for more damage on the Braum. That's a tanky member, but the Fury's extremely fed at this point in the game. Don't think Apes Together Strong are going to be able to find this fight down a member. Decent charm onto the Malphite, but you're not going to be able to take him, and that's another unstoppable force into the back line. Ahri goes down, Braum soon to follow, Jinx under threat, forced to flash out, but the Diana ult coming out, the Seismic Shard gets just enough damage. And this is going to be game number 2 in favor of Placeholder.
Yeah, looking like like the end of the game. Baron buff just expired, but still, PhD got what they wanted. They broke the base, got a full ace as well as the game win in our game 2.
Much cleaner game from Team Placeholder. We saw them able to create a similar series of advantages in the early game that they were able to create last game. But they did not give the Jinx the opportunity to scale up. They did not give Apes Together Strong an ability to fight strong together in the late game like they were in the previous. So they were able to take a very thoroughly convincing game number 2. We'll have to see in game number 3 if they continue to play towards those early game strengths, or if Apes Together Strong find a composition that can answer and not fall so far behind. And welcome back once again to the deciding Game 3 between Apes Together Strong and Team Placeholder for the Sunday Cup's first round of playoffs. I'm Adales, joined once again by TSM, and we just saw a very decisive Game 2 from Team Placeholder, able to find some of the advantages that they found in Game 1, but trying to get into a result that favored them this time. It seems like Apes Together Strong is now on the back foot, especially with how well the early game has gone, really in both games for Team Placeholder. We'll see if they have any answers, because we saw Game 2, neither team really budging on at least what the ban priority was. You might have to think that Apes Together Strong feel a little bit differently after what was Game 2.
Yeah, definitely. I really like the change of pace at least how it played out. The PhD team comp in Game 2 was very focused on team fights, whereas their first game was a lot more on picks. This time they took it to the team fights and actually beat Ape in them, basically blowing the entire game open and just taking the lead and definitely running away with it like you're an excited Jinx, getting your pop-offs or pop-off plays. The Ape is gonna have to look and see if they can change it up. Do they have an answer? Do they have a different plan in terms of what the PhD is gonna pick? Who will change it up the most?
It feels like it's going to have to be bot side focus once again for Apes Together Strong, because the top and mid have just gone so in favor of Team Placeholder in both games. But we saw them focus bot relatively well last game. They had the Ivards for supporting the Jinx. They had the Braum trying to keep her safe. Yes, it was a little bit more of an aggressive pick in the Renekton top, the Ahri mid, but it seemed like it would be a composition that they were able to play out similar to the way they did in Game 1, but very different results overall. We'll have to see what the priority ends up being. I'm interested to see how Team Placeholder reacts as well, because we saw the last game, yes, the Diana was able to create a little bit of an early advantage, but that's not necessarily what you pick the champ for, and the late game ended up not really being so much about the Diana, able to participate well in fights, but not able to create the kind of pressure that I think Team Placeholder would have hoped to see. But small nitpicks in a game that was overwhelmingly in their favor is, how visible I personally think a Diana is. So we'll have to see. We are into picks and bans, and we'll see if either of these two teams is willing to budge on their first 3 bans.
Yeah, I think the Smolder Smolder for blue side. Ape we're keeping the teams on the same side. So Ape is blue side again. PhD also red side again. Same stuff there. And same first bans as well. Smolder for Ape, so no Smolder. And no Zeri, according to PhD this time. Same bans so far. And please change it up, if I'm entirely honest.
Yeah, you have to think in theory. Yeah.
Stuff.
We saw Apes Together Strong ban it in the second phase of the first game, but Placeholder picked it in the first phase of the second. So the adaptation is there, and the theory will not be let through this game.
Zac gone as well, or Zac gone again, I'd say. The Zac ban for Ape, Viego ban as well, so okay, solid, same bans for PhD. Vex ban on Ape side, so still no Vex, but yeah, a small adaptation and the Neferi ban, which definitely popped off last game. I don't think they're gonna ban tank top laners for PhD, although it happened twice. They might actually want to look for a good hard counter, knowing what you're gonna expect.
Absolutely. The Kindred was let through. That was the ban that was different for Apes Together Strong previously. Still feeling confident in the Jinx. I think it's the pick they need. It's just a question of if they can keep it safe and if it does the things they need it to do. Team Placeholder ceiling, seeing no need to change what worked for last game. Melio Ashe 1-2.
Melio Ashe 1-2 indeed. I think you could do better, but PhD disagrees. They're saying it's solid, and I guess we'll have to. I trust the Ashe. The Ashe is definitely useful with the ultis in the setup, or at least just the pick potential in fights. The Melio is a safety button. Braum for Ape side. Yeah, okay. Run it back on the bot lanes, it seems.
This is where I think we need to see some adaptation from Apes Together Strong. Last game, they didn't have quite the 5v5 default composition that we would hope to see, but keeping things just the same so far. The Ahri comes through. Of course, there could be no Fury to answer, so maybe a little bit more of an advantage to the mid lane, but you can still counterpick if you want from PhD or pick up that Kindred if it is a priority for the team.
Yeah, true. I think the Ahri is still a good takeaway. Remembering game one, remembering the pop off on Ahri for Mamui's PhD. Yeah, good stuff
Ooh.
there. Aurelia, okay.
Now, having seen the Ari, you have to think that's an Irelia answer mid lane. It does very similar things to the Neferi. It could get solid advantage for itself. It is another AD threat, but that hasn't really been a problem for placeholder before. And obviously, if they're going for an AD mid laner, they see no reason to take an AD jungler for themselves. So happy not to take the Kindred that was left up. And now things become very interesting because that is another character that wants to dive in for the side of placeholder. And we saw that work very well for them last game. Ah,
Okay, so no deviation. Still, yeah, okay. Lilia is third then. We're
it
changing.
seems like
Okay.
the Irelia was intended to be Lilia, actually. It sounds like team placeholder misclicked.
Although, what is the...
Ooh.
Okay, slightly confusing. They Ape still banded, so not sure what that is. Sejuani, Volibear, and Malphite bans though, so they did ban towards top lane this time. Diana Pig supposedly, so looks like Diana jungle again. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, gonna have to be. They do need that AP threat in the jungle with the Irelia that they've unfortunately accidentally locked for themselves. The Vi on the other side, I don't know if this is the pick that Apes Together Strong need to answer what PhD had put together, at least in the last game. It is a fairly strong jungler, can pair well with the Arya mid lane and create a little bit more pressure there, but yeah, it seems a little bit like a diving member that isn't necessarily what the Jinx wants alongside it, but we'll have to see how they round out this composition in the top side.
Yeah,
I'm
not
going to
sure
have to.
indeed.
Oh,
Double-edged Mordekaiser as well though, so different top laner. It is a lot better scaling top laner this time. Vi is pretty good for diving, but compared to the other members, only Ari really wants to dive. So yeah, not sure if that's... We're gonna see if that's the best choice. Garen lock-in though for PhD. Okay, the twice banned Garen now unlocked and actually locked in as red side 5th pick. So red 5, Garen lock-in versus Mordekaiser. Okay, interesting.
yeah. Apes Together Strong adapting into the third game here, taking a bit of a more resilient top lane pick. We saw them get punished pretty heavily through that side of the map in previous games, but we'll see how potent the Garen is able to be into it. Of course, if Mordekaiser does fall behind, it can feel a little bit rough. So they are able to set this pick behind. We'll see how effective it is. Of course, the Diana, not the early game monster as we talked about last game, was able to find a kill on the top side, but I don't know how reliable it'll be to do that 2 games in a row. And the mistaken Irelia pick will end up being forced into the mid lane, and we'll see how comfortable they are on it. We, of course, had a statement game last game on the comfortable Neferi, but we'll see how he's able to pilot the Irelia.
Yeah, slight deviation in the drafts. Again, the top side, or yeah, top side and jungle deviation for both teams. Other parts of the team fairly similar. So part comfort, part change. Still, I think I like Ape's changes better. The addition of the Vi and Mordekaiser. Yeah, okay, they have very different purposes, but the changes or the extras they add, the Vi dive as well as the Mordekaiser ulti, trying to take one member away from the fight entirely, is definitely a good change or a good addition to the team. On the other side, PhD with the mid change difference, of course, because of the Neferi ban. It is Aurelia mid. Okay. It has been confirmed. Good stuff. So it is indeed Aurelia, as well as the Garen. A lot more melee, and also a lot less tanky compared to other times. Usually, don't think it's gonna be a full tank Garen this time. It's likely gonna be a bit more damage. Still, Less hard engage, less of a go button with a Malphite following up on the Diana.
Yeah, we'll have to see how Placeholder are able to play it out. As you mentioned, we saw them have a lot of very strong tools last game. They don't necessarily have those this game, whereas Apes Together Strong, they've created options for them on multiple sides of the map now. With the Mordekaiser able to be a fairly solid threat on his own in a side lane, you don't necessarily have to 5v5 like you pretty much had to in the previous two games. If the Mordekaiser is able to get a bit of an advantage up there, of course, if you're able to snowball the Ari in conjunction with the Vi in the mid lane, there are some options here for Apes Together Strong. But I think with all of the tools they have for fighting as well, it's just going to be harder for PhD to find fights for themselves. So we'll see how it ends up looking. I have confidence in Team Placeholder based on their early games in the last few games that they're able to create advantages for themselves. We'll see if it's enough because it seems like overall their composition may be slightly weaker.
Yeah, indeed. Still quite melee or quite divey in at least with the melee Garen, Aurelia dashing or diving in, as well as the Diana diving and ulting in. It's looks like a change of pace, or at least a different combination of champions.
We do see the phase
interesting.
rush from the Garen, so as you mentioned, it is probably going to be that more skirmishy style, less of a full tank and more of just wanting to stay on a side lane and get some favorable trades in. Conqueror once again on the Diana. I don't think we saw a whole lot of extended fights where that made a huge difference, but we'll have to see if it's a slightly different story this game.
Yeah, Conqueror on the Vi as well, which is usually the favorite option, either that or Dark Harvest. Sorry, Dark Harvest, no. Hail of Blades on the the Vi, not this time. It's Conqueror on Aurelia, so the usual keystone, as well as Mordekaiser, also running the Conqueror. A lot of skirmishy, or at least extended fighting champions. If you look at their runes, Ash, same old, Lethal Tempo, Braum, Guardian, as well as the anti-CC smaller runes. Jinx, also Lethal Tempo, so basics but solid choices. And yeah, our Eri on the Milio for shielding and possibly added poke or extra damage if you're going for your trades.
Yeah, and when we have teams as bloody as these two, you got to say, seeing as many conquerors as we do in this game, you got to think there's going to be a lot more fighting in store for Game 3. It is interesting to see the Ari take the Airy in the mid lane. I would have expected something like Electrocute in this lane, potentially, and just to have that a little bit more pressure when you're paired up with the Vi. That's probably where the Vi is looking to play through, so having that bit of extra damage can be helpful early on, but just looking for the poke, obviously when you're into a melee mid, Airy can be extraordinarily annoying, so this kind of speaks to maybe potentially wanting to play the lane a little bit more solo than trying to pair up with the Vi for the kill threat.
Yeah, I mean, it's both have their both the Airy as well as the Electrocute have their advantages. Electrocute is a lot more bursty in terms of trying to get the kill on the Aurelia. Otherwise, if you are poking or poking with your auto attacks during the entire laning phase, all that Airy damage is definitely gonna add up and might even be more valuable than just getting a single Electrocute proc once every 25-30 seconds.
Very true. I'm interested to see how the top lane goes as well. Obviously, not having the Conqueror on the Garen with the Mordekaiser having it himself. I don't know how the Garen is looking to play out this laning phase. I think the fairly reasonable answer is, just skirmish, silence the Mordekaiser before he can get his spells out. You don't want that Mordekaiser to get the passive up. You just get as much damage as you can and then phase rush out. But we'll have to see if that's able to create the kind of advantages they want to in the top side. In the last two games, it's been a story of top and mid domination for Team Placeholder. That's how they won. It has not been the story of the Ashe, despite that being the consistent pick. It very much has been every advantage possible in top and mid lane. So kind of thinking you need to see that again this game if Team Placeholder are going to take it. But we are on to the Rift, and both teams not willing to make any kind of mistakes setting up defensive lines and waiting for the other to make a move.
Yeah, just 5-1 starts, no invades, nothing special this time. Good solid start. Yeah, remembering game one, extremely bloody almost, running a lot of kills during the entire game. Game two was a lot slower, with I think 1-1 until at least the 8th or 9th minute mark. I kind of expect this game also to be a bit slower. The PhD side definitely need their ultimates, or at least their items again, to really get going. Whereas APE, they'll probably want to have their ultis too, at least on the Ari and the Vi side. Mordekaiser could do without, but any fight where Mordekaiser is outmanned really benefits the ulti and gives him a good 1v1 situation again.
Absolutely. The moment you gank Mordekaiser, it turns out Mordekaiser ganks you in most situations. It's interesting to see the ghost from the Garen rather than the teleport. Definitely trying to be more of that side lane nuisance than a team fight menace, which we knew from the runes, but Ghost very much just looking to get advantages over the Mordekaiser in the laning phase and continue to push through. We'll see if he's able to make it work.
Not sure if I agree there, but I think it mainly shows that Garen will be looking to split push or at least pressure the side lane again, like Alkami has been doing on the past two games. Currently, Garen definitely a better split pusher than the Sion or the Malphite from last game, but yeah, different change of pace and might actually be a split push this time, so a 4-1 game somewhat.
And with as often as we saw the very tanky members on the enemy turrets, I have to think that's a solid adaptation. Is a bit of a trade in the mid lane. Yeah, really not flashing at this point is a bit of a trade in top as well, but
very greedy though.
When the Mordekaiser, flash in from the Mordekaiser. We were saying when that passive goes up, the Garen just stops winning the trade. He stays in it a bit too long. Alakami was looking to get advantages at the top side, but it gets turned around on him, and it's first blood for the Mordekaiser.
Very nice punish though, following the flash almost instantly by Mordekaiser, getting the flash Q off and executing Garen, getting if the Mordekaiser actually keeps this going, he might be winning the top side this time instead of Garen getting the advantage there.
Yeah, and we know that this champion can be an absolute menace if it gets rolling. If you set it behind, it's not so bad, but already a kill on the top is not what you want to see if you're a team placeholder. This is one of the lanes where you need to be finding advantages, and having it turned around on you does not bode well for later in the game. More trades in the mid lane. Nice charm onto the Irelia. It's taking a lot of minions right now. Forced to flash out back to the tower. Will survive for now. His bot lane done onto the Melio, but not enough pressure from the Braum Jinx. Just forcing the enemy laners back under their tower. As Ashe goes extremely low. Dies to the rocket. Just face takes the zap as now Diana in the mid lane, forcing the flash out of the Ahri. Ahri goes low, but lands the charm onto the Diana, continuing to chase. Does get the last Q and is able to pick up a return kill in the mid. Meanwhile, on top side, Vi gets a gank in. Garen able to walk it out. It's action all over the back to back.
Looks like a very bloody or at least messy game again, this one. Good stuff. I like the change of pace. I like the more bloody, or at least a lot more exciting games. Last game was somewhat slow, or at least a couple of good attempts, but no real hits in terms of getting kills. This time there are again lots of flashes burned as well. Diana burned her flash for the Ahri kill. Vi burned her flash ganking top lane, but didn't end up killing the Garen, sadly.
Yeah, they're at 2 games in a row now on the Diana. Early game pick. Able to find the right opportunity on the right member and pick up that early kill. So we'll see how much he's able to translate it into. Already picked up the blasting wand. Looking for that Nashor's rush again this game. But gonna need to create more around the map if they want to take this victory. Irelia once again aggressive in the mid lane. Does get charmed, but goes right back in, and that's a very favorable trade. This pick was locked in on accident, but it's already looking fairly strong in the mid lane. Definitely Mamoru looking comfortable on the pick.
Yeah, or at least was called out as an accident indeed, but I'm not so sure. They might have wanted something different, but it's not a bad choice if you look at how the laning phase is playing out. Farm is quite equal. Trades are, if executed well, favorable for the Aurelia.
Certainly are. Top 5 continues to be the story of the series. Just push after push from APE Together Strong. Already a 10 CS lead for the Jinx. Full wave up. They create pressure. They go over to Dragon. They secure it without issue. We've seen these teams, though, in both previous games contest the Dragon less and contest the Grubs more, so we'll see what that ends up looking like. Diana already rotating up that way, but with the Vi hanging around on the top side, they might just collapse. PhD way overextended. The exhaust on the Ashe. She's just stunned up, locked down, not even going to burn the cleanse. No, she's dead, but survives actually a fairly long time, but now the last auto attack comes through for the Jinx. And that's a free kill for APE Together Strong.
A really solid punish. 3-man flank almost to try and get behind the Ashe. And Ashe with no summoners, not even the cleanse up at the moment of dying. You're in trouble. There's, really tough time getting out. Almost survived, but the last auto attack from Jinx actually gets it. And solid advantage there. It's now actually, the Jinx getting ahead and possibly even starting a snowball quite early in the game this time.
Yeah, this is what we weren't able to see APE Together Strong be able to do last game. It was a very long time before that Jinx picked up even her first kill previously, but this one's a very different story, looking a little bit more like game one. Yes, there's some positives towards the mid lane for Team Placeholder, but bot lane is where APE Together Strong are most invested, and it's looking very good for them at this stage. Already a little under a 1,000 gold lead on their side, plus the Dragon to boot. It is 3 grubs that Placeholder were able to secure in response with all the action on the bot side, but I struggle to think that that's going to be the answer to this Jinx later on in the game.
Yeah, agreed. The grubs, I mean, grubs alone don't really give you much. It's just some added tower damage, which you would like to translate to tower plates as well. But yeah, we'll see how how PhD can actually get some gold in return compared to the small gold lead APE are currently running. It's already been slowed down to 0.5, so a half K gold, which is absolutely nothing. Still, there's definitely a gold difference in terms of members, I think, with the Jinx surely ahead of the Ashe and possibly top lane Garen. Should actually be close to Diana is ahead of Vi, I'm sorry. 1 kill as well as the farm. So there's a gold advantage there if you'd compare both teams.
Yeah, and we were saying that last game wasn't necessarily the Diana story, but it's looking like it might have to be this game. Because aside from the Irelia, basically everything else is slightly or very much in favor of APE Together Strong. The top lane has just been muted, but with the lack of the teleport on the Garen, we were saying that he kind of had to get ahead and just really hasn't been able to, at least at this phase of the game. So we'll see. Team Placeholder in every other game able to find answers for themselves. Is looks like mid lane, the Vi looking for a gank onto the Irelia. Able to land the cease and desist, the sun comes through, and the flash is out, so Mamui will be able to keep himself safe, but burns the flash for the gank.
Yeah, necessary flash to get out. Vi still had the ulti, but didn't really want to commit it. They were just looking for the flash, or at least trying to get the pick. Having Aurelia still having high HP, it's not really worth looking towards the tower dive.
Yep, Diana looking for a little bit of a gank onto the bot side, but quite able to find it. More trading in the mid lane, but that just seems to be the story of this game at this stage. Yeah, Lyrath, I like the look for a gank, but don't think bot side is where you're going to be finding it quite at this point in the game. Eyes on the bot side herself, and there are 2 teleports up for APE Together Strong, so if there is an overcommit, it could spell disaster for Team Placeholder. However, Lyrath's definitely wanting to make something happen. Still is sat down here in the bot lane. Is level 6, so if he's able to get onto the Jinx, could potentially make something happen there, but with the wave sitting where it is, APE Together Strong could have frozen it, but are just choosing to push, so they may actually find themselves in a little bit of trouble here. The Braum goes in and looks for the fight, but it's a 2v2. Ashe flashes out, but Diana goes in. The Braum forced to flash as well, but it looks like he's going to be going down. Puts the shield up and drops to Diana. There's a kill in favor of Placeholder, and they are able, after all that, to find something on the bot side.
Very slow fight. Diana had a lot of patience, but eventually the Braum actually took the somewhat bait, somewhat just over-aggressive 2v2 engage, and got hard punished for it. flashing ghost, but yeah, no cigar for him. Diana punish, and Diana gets the kill.
And that was just too aggressive. You saw your own jungler rotating up towards the top side. This is not a point where you're stronger. You know that they can collapse if they have the members advantage on the bot side with those extra teleports, but it wasn't the case, so it's just a little bit biting off where they can chew on the bot side of it. Meanwhile, though, once the play is made on the bot side, the grubs go down, and this time it's in favor of Apes Together Strong. Mordekaiser ultimate goes down onto the Garrett. He spins, but he is not winning. He just dies solo kill for Weechi again. The fire rotates up. It just isn't needed.
Yeah, not what Garen intended. Grubs take from Ape as well, shortly ago, and answered by PhD taking the dragon afterwards. So trade of objectives again, however the other way around this time. So both teams currently have a dragon as well as 3 void grubs, basically making them equal.
Equal in objectives, kills slightly in favor of Apes Together Strong still at this point, and yeah, the Diana maintains a slight CS lead, and sure the Garrett does too, but yeah, you gotta think that Apes Together Strong are starting to run away with it. The Mordekaiser being that side lane threat who gets solo off a member in team fights, the Jinx being the absolute hyper carry we know her to be. These are not the members, if you're team placeholder, that you want to see gold on. Hoping to see them answer back somehow, but I don't think the one pick they found in the Braum is quite what they're looking to replicate, so we'll see where they continue to look next.
Yeah, just the Braum kill is not really gonna be enough to take back the gold that you've lost in terms of the 2 deaths on the other side. Gold-wise, it's also, yeah, basically in the close to perfect position for Ape side. PhD, not entirely. Diana, I mean, it's good, but I don't think that Diana is really gonna pop off this game. TP bot side though, there's a RE TP in.
Yeah, this time, members advantage for Apes Together Strong, lands everything onto the Ashe and just blows her up. Emilio forced to run back to tower, but does get locked up on the Brawl passive, and that's a kill over to the Jinx. You saw, once they are able to get that teleport down, if they do have a members advantage, the Brawl ultimate is a very good way of starting off that fight, and it nets them 2 kills and some tower plates.
Yeah, very good engage, or at least flank TP, and just the hard engage from bot lane. Jinx running down, Braum's passive stuns, starting the fight up, and no chance for PhD to really get towards to get the safety there.
Oh,
flash out,
and the Aria flash in from Irelia does end up going down to Vi with the cease and desist, does secure the kill, but now Vi in a 2v1. Garen spinning, goes down to about half HP, but the teleport in from the Mordekaiser to support flashes in onto the Diana and has the ultimate back up. Diana goes back in, but this is a very fed Mordekaiser. I don't know that you're winning it now. Goes down to Weechi. The Vi forced to flash out by the Garen, but that's still a play in favor of Apes Together Strong.
Yeah, very scrappy. Tower dive attempt. Already gets hard punished. Good flash ulti from the Vi, as well as, yeah, then flash ult from Mordekaiser. Just completely isolates the Diana, the so far most fed member for PhD, and bonks her on the head with the hammer. Solid club, actually. Solid team fight there. And slowly increasing gold lead from Ape this time.
Yeah, and with the items that the Mordekaiser has built, I mean, even the Nashor's Tooth Diana wouldn't be able to make a difference there. Just too strong at this phase of the game. I don't know who's going to be able to contest him, and we know that Mordekaiser is the champion, that if you send up 2 members, you have sent up 1 free member for him to kill. I don't know how to begin to answer this tick with as fed as he's getting. Yeah, he's behind about 20 CS, but he's still going to be ahead in gold, and building up those items that he needs to be able to sustain these fights. It's just going to be tough for team placeholder.
Yeah, good stuff there. Somewhat, or quite a bit of scrappy fighting on bot side. However, Diana is currently taking the Rift Herald, it seems, as well as, yeah, Garen split pushing. Not entirely sure why. Just taking the pressure off of Diana, I presume, and securing the Rift Herald.
Yeah, team placeholder recognizing that they're slightly more coordinated on the top side of the map are able to find an objective for themselves, but bot lane tower does end up going down in the 2v2 to apes together strong. So got to think at this point they're looking to rotate the Braum and Jinx out of that lane and start to siege down more of these objectives with the 3 and 4 groups they do have.
Yeah, it looks like they're rotating their full bot lane, so Jinx Braum towards mid, indeed, changing the position of pressure. You're not really gonna get the inner tower on bot lane over a mid or top lane tower even, with the bot lane duo. Just smart choice from them to change their strongest 2 members and switch them to a different lane, trying to get the tower there.
It will be an answer on the top side. Garen able to create enough split push pressure at least, so when the Mordekaiser isn't in lane, Garen is able to get some work done, but that's going to be fairly rare at this part of the game, you have to think, but it is enough to net them at least one objective, as already continuing to just land skill shots into the Garen, but isn't going to be able to kill. Third dragon of the game, picked up for Apes Together Strong, that is their second. See if they continue to stack these Drakes up. It is the Hextech Soul, not necessarily the strongest, although the Mordekaiser isn't going to be complaining about the damage reduction below 50%. There's more opportunity for him to heal.
Yeah, Chemtank is definitely going to favor the Mordekaiser, possibly also the Vi in terms of diving in. It's a good addition. On the other side, I think PhD could actually use it better with 3 melees or 3 divers in Aurelia, Diana, as well as the Garen, but interested to see if they are able to actually contest for the dragon later on. How they plan to take those fights.
Michelle, the first items completed pretty much across the board. Diana going in onto the Braum, but it's not necessarily the champion you want to be engaging to. Santa Crystal Arrow comes out, but it's just not going to do anything. Braum doesn't even drop below 50%, and you could look for a pick, but spending those resources into the tanky support isn't going to net you much. Meanwhile, on the top side, Vi over the wall onto the Aurelia has a favorable trade on the Vians, but Vians able to just play at range, stays just out of reach of the Aurelia, and is able to pick up that kill.
Yeah, good backup from Vi, taking the short route inner jungle, getting the ulti in and punishing the over-aggression from Aurelia. And no shot that you're really gonna outplay that in the 2v1.
Yeah, we saw Braum out from the mid lane just to try and delay the Rift Herald charge, but nothing much doing there. They are able to get it off, but Tower stands fairly strong at this point in the game. Team placeholder gonna need to find themselves a pick onto one of these valuable members if they want to find an advantage, but so far they've been the ones getting picked off.
Yes, indeed. Currently somewhat of an attempt at the mid tower with the Rift Herald. Just getting damage done. Nothing much afterwards. They just don't have the pressure, or at least don't have the members to really keep it going. Same on top side. Just Ahri pushing in the mini wave, getting some chip damage on the tower, but no real success yet there. And maybe at a later stage they will get something done. Currently looking at 30 possible fight in the bot lane. TP in from the Mordekaiser. However, Garen in the ulti. Mordekaiser getting a good fight.
Yeah, the Mordekaiser ulti comes down, flashes in, but Garen flashes out. A little bit potentially, I won't say over-aggressive from Witu because he wins the fight pretty handily, but he isn't going to find the kill on the full health Garen quite at this point in the game, no matter how fed he is. Garen's just able to proc the phase rush and get out to safety.
Yeah, the upfront damage from Mordekaiser is somewhat lower once the items start going. He might need a couple more, as well as Garen starting to build magic resist is already stopping him from dealing most damage. It'll just slightly stop the bleeding in terms of the 1v1s.
Yeah, I'm wondering what the next item will be from the Garen, because King of Crookern is extraordinarily as we enter a fight right away, the Diana forced to flash out, just gets collapsed on by Vi over the wall. Apes Together Strong, looking fairly strong in this fight. They do have their mid laner splitting top, but has the teleport. Meanwhile, on the bot side, Wichi just continuing to create pressure, and Garen's going to have to go back to answer that. So, Apes Together Strong looking fairly powerful. I don't know that they want to necessarily start up this Baron. There's very little else on the map that they can take unless they look for a side lane objective, and that's just maybe the look of this top side. Tower fairly low. Irelia goes in, but gets charmed up, locked up, has to dash back out to a minion prepped behind her. Very fortunate to be able to get out of that alive. It's fighting now between the top laners on the bot side. This one goes in favor of Weechi, goes on a rampage, able to take down the Garanis. More fighting on the top lane. Diana goes in on the 4 and just gets popped, nearly finds the kill onto the Jinx, doesn't have quite enough damage to do it. Apes Together Strong come out stronger on both sides of the map.
Barely didn't make it on the Diana side. Tried to dash in, ulti in, and really execute the Jinx in a fairly good fight, fairly good punish, but no shot when you're getting answered and outmanned by the enemy team as well as a Vi ulti. Good luck.
Yeah, and that feels like the straw that broke the camel's back, because without that kill onto the Jinx, Apes Together Strong are going to be able to secure the Baron for absolutely free. And at this point in the game, it's looking like it was looking last game for Team Placeholder. They just have all the tools, they have all the power where they need it, and it's hard to see where Team Placeholder are going to be able to find an answer if it's not a miracle fight.
Yeah, very solid fighting, or at least team fighting, as well as objective focus from Ape so far. Good, just free Baron take. Nothing PhD could do against it. I'm not entirely happy that they're contesting the dragon right away. They haven't based, I think. No one of them. Maybe the RES, but that's not even your most fed members. So
yeah, they can give that dragon for largely free. It is an objective bounty over to Team Placeholder, but I think a smart call to answer with the mid lane, as you mentioned, hadn't reset past the Baron. Not necessarily stronger. If Team Placeholder was going to be able to find a fight, it could have been that one. So heads up play for Apes Together Strong, just conceding the dragon and finding one.
Yeah, good punish indeed. Take anything you can while the enemy team isn't watching or just isn't able to answer you. This basically makes it good timing.
Dansky going in on his own in the mid lane. Find a little damage on Emilio. Not going to be much more than that. Just saying that it seems trying to establish priority around mid, see if they can push down more of these towers. They should have Mordekaiser on the side lane. An extraordinarily powerful split pusher in these 4-1 or 3-1-1 situations when you do have the Baron. We'll see how Apes Together Strong are going to try and answer. It should be fairly difficult once Apes Together Strong do group up and push, but it's just cleared their own jungle. Mordekaiser as well. It looks like they're not using this Baron buff to its full potential quite yet.
Yeah, no, they're kind of trying to 1-3-1 split push, but really not maximizing the pressure. Actually trying to get some minion waves or pushes in. It's quite slow so far, except for the Mordekaiser bot lane maybe. Good fight on top again though. Garen getting caught possibly.
Yeah, Charm lands on the Alchemy. The cease and desist as well. Super Mega Death Rocket goes wide, but here's the ultimate from the Vi, and that's enough to lock down the kill. We were wondering what kind of pressure they were going to create, but they do find a kill on the side lane. Mordekaiser now continuing to push bot. The gold continues to snowball for Apes Together Strong.
Yeah, good punish. Garen, just caught out of position. Isn't really able to do a lot. You're 0-4. He is 60 minions ahead of the Mordekaiser, but it's not enough to really get stuff going. TP in from the Aurelia though. PhD might actually be looking to fight. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're looking for it, but they're just not going to find it. Apes Together Strong lead the play. They back off well. Not going to give any advantage to Team Placeholder. They do not want to allow them putting back into this game because, as a reminder, whoever wins this game advances in playoffs, and whoever loses is out. This is between our two last place teams, so it is an elimination match. The winner of this game will go on to face Team No Name in their own best of 3, but the loser season is over, so neither of these teams wants to be handing over any advantages to the other, and apparently Apes Together Strong is holding all the cards.
Yeah, hard agree there. It's Apes game to lose at this point. It's close to a 5k gold difference, but objective bounties on PhD's side for at least a slight bit longer. Soon to be a dragon spawn, barely below 2 minutes, as well as a Baron spawn, 20 seconds after. So yeah, I'm expecting a good team fight again, and I'm interested to see how PhD engage it this time. They're not ahead, so it's gonna be difficult, but only 5k is definitely still a chance to really, get a good outplay. Maybe an Aurelia pop-off even to win the fight.
Not doomed quite yet. However, Lord Dominic's just completed for the Jinx 3 items now on the late game hyper carry. We've got both mask items completed for the Mordekaiser in the side lane, plus some healing reduction for him, so he's feeling perfectly fine. But these are the breakboards that you want to be hitting from the side apes together strong. And looking at the items for placeholder, I just don't see who's really going to be able to answer. Could be the Diana, try to find a play out of the Arias. Owlkami solo kills the Jinx in the backline, able to find the perfect opportunity. There just weren't enough members to protect him, and we were wondering what this Garen was going to do. That seems to be exactly what they needed. Flash out from the Ashe, though, as Vi engages. The Braum knock up onto the Melio. Does cleanse to try and get himself out, but it's just not enough. Gets stunned up at the end of it, and it's a kill back over to Apes Together Strong, but that's 2 kills across the map in favor of Placeholder. They're finding signs of life. They're not out of this game quite yet.
Yeah, good punish on mid lane, but it's only the Melio kill, blowing 2 summoners in the heal and flash compared to double kill for Ape side. Really getting priority members in the Ahri and Jinx, just getting tower dove and massacred straight up. Good, just good hard punish from PhD. Really taking the damage straight to the carries and punishing.
Yeah, and that is what you need to see from this Garen with the straight up damage items. He is not this sustained fighter. He does not have any kind of threat on the Mordekaiser at this phase of the game. If he's going to make himself useful, it does need to be blowing up these squishy carries, and he's able to find that in the mid lane. Nets them a couple of objectives and objective bounties to boot. Yeah, Apes Together Strong, able to regroup around the dragon and pick up soul point for themselves, but again, it is just that Chemtech soul, not the most powerful. I think team placeholder starting to feel a little bit better about their chances, even if only slightly.
Yeah, definitely. The gold difference has also been sliding to, 1.5k at this point. So from 5 to 1.5, definitely a good change if you're favoring PhD in this matchup. And almost even again with Dragon to Ape, so soul point for them. I agree on the Chemtech soul. It's not the best. It's not that good at this point, but anything to just getting the soul point, or at least the full soul, is still a good advantage. And possible Elder Dragon after.
Certainly is. Both teams right now looking to establish a little bit of Baron vision and Baron control. Team placeholder had first push in there, but they absolutely do not want to get caught out around this objective. Apes Together Strong able to reestablish a little bit of their own, and I think we're going to see a dancing for the next few minutes as both these teams look at that as their next possible objective.
Yeah, definitely. Both really getting their wards up, or at least trying to get full control of the Baron area, as well as push from the minions on other sides. Aurelia walking towards bot lane though, trying to get an answer there, but top lane fight, Garen getting caught.
Yeah, gets caught, but does phase rush quite a far ways down the lane, is ulted by the Mordekaiser. Will be forced to reckon with 3 members when he comes out of that, but the Diana is in, goes in on to 3, gets a little bit of damage down, but just gets blown up in return. It's a 5v3 in favor of Apes Together Strong, and team placeholder just had no business being on that part of the map. Garen goes down at the end of the play. Emilio forced to retreat. Jinx getting excited. Super Mega Death Rocket just goes wide and not able to secure that kill, but Apes Together Strong should be able to secure a free Baron off those 2 picks.
Yeah, I don't think you want that fight as PhD. They still, they tried for it. They initially didn't really want to, but in the end Diana dove in. Aurelia TP towards top as well, but once Aurelia TP was done channeling, the fight was over and the fight was lost. So sadly, not the play PhD we're looking for. Really good punish by Ape to catch the overextended Garen and get a free Baron at the backhand.
Yeah, fairly cheeky play from Owlkami. It looked like he'd be able to get out for just a moment there, but not in the cards. Just taking fights they shouldn't have. And this is what we saw from Apes Together Strong when they were able to win game 1. They just grouped as 5. They knew they were stronger. They knew where their advantages were at. They picked 2 kills. They got a free objective, and they snowballed that into a free win. Seems to be the same strategy for them at this point in the game. We'll see if they're able to use this Baron a little bit more effectively than the last one. Already got Braum and Jinx in the mid lane trying to establish actually another 1-3-1. Garen looking for a kill onto the Ahri at the top side. Does have to burn the ultimate just to keep yourself safe. This Garen, despite being so far behind, is still very much a threat onto those squishies with the build that he's gone for, but not able to find it quite yet.
Yeah, possible good amount of damage, but just Ahri burning the ult. Having 3 items so far, so a decent bit of cooldown reduction. If you look at the top left, you can see the Ahri ulti cooldown already just running down like it's probably close to 50 seconds. It's worth burning your ult. You're not worried at all.
Oh,
except if
flash in from Garrett though. The silence comes through, but it's just not quite enough. Flash out from Viance, charmed as well. The Garen going extraordinarily low. He is not tanky with this build, and he kind of thought he'd be able to do more damage in that exchange. Meanwhile, bot side, Apes Together Strong are stronger and secure themselves there. Ooh, Viance goes back in on top though, and like you mentioned, that ult just comes back up, and it's a free kill back on the Garen. The cooldown being so extraordinarily short means it's just a free play after free play from the Apes Together Strong mid laner.
Yeah, good punish. Getting the ulti again. Second fight. This time the Ahri is way more healthy, so easy pick up there. Alchemy getting caught, overextended again, and yeah, the other 4 members of Ape are just roaming around, taking towers, and not getting punished for it by PhD. They are just too far ahead.
Viance looks like he's looking for a tower on top side, but it's going to be answered by the Aurelia. The ultimate comes out, and Viance, I think, recognizing he's probably dead here, burns the zone just to get the last hit onto the tower, so gets something back for his troll. Does go down, gives over a little bit of gold, but that's a tower and another dragon secured for Apes Together Strong. They picked themselves up the soul, and I think they're still feeling very fine.
Yeah, Ape are still definitely happy indeed. Gold difference has grown back to 5k, so quite similar as previously. Currently, it's the amount of 5k is the later you go, it amounts to less, so less item difference, but still, it's a full item on the AD carries so far. It's very close on the top laners, actually, closer than I expected. Yeah, other roles as well. Ahead in jungle, ahead in mid lane, the Ahri in terms of items, but yeah, fairly close,
Okay.
although PhD just doesn't seem to have the engage. They're maybe too ulti-reliant to really make it happen.
Yeah, the Guardian Angel picked up now for the Jinx, just going to make it that much harder to secure that kill, even if you do get the Aurelia, the Diana, the Garen into the backside of the fight. Apes Together Strong should be able to regroup around their deceased teammate before they revive. So looking tougher and tougher for inside a placeholder with those item completions coming through. 16-6 currently the kill score. Fairly quiet after that Baron. I would think that with the composition that Apes Together Strong have, that they'd be able to take even a couple more towers. I believe they got 2 or 3 off that last Baron push, so nothing certainly, but haven't been able to break over the placeholder base quite yet. Elder Dragon at 4 minutes, Baron in a minute and a half. We'll see how these teams play heading into that objective, because that should be their next look. I don't think they want to trade one for the other. At least Apes Together Strong don't. If they can secure both objectives, I think they'd be more than happy to.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm expecting a PhD contest, or at least attempt at getting the control over the Baron area. Basically preparing them for Baron, which is going to be spawning in a minute from now. Elder Dragon quite late. Flash out from Medio. Yeah, possible catch there. This looks like a kill attempt from the Mordekaiser at least, but...
Yeah, it's an extraordinarily speedy Garen. Is he fast enough? He is. Oh! Kyle's on him a little bit. The flash comes through for the Mordekaiser. Is able to get a fair bit of damage on the Garen, but just kites it out at the end of the day. And this is what Placeholder want to do. They just want to stall. They don't need to necessarily win a fight around Baron. If they can trade Baron for Elder, they absolutely will. However, Melio in the mid lane caught out a bit. the last Super Mega Death Rocket is able to secure the kill. Now Zap comes through. The Mordekaiser finds the kill onto the Ashe as well. Diana with the ultimate coming through, but not able to find much for it. Will just go down in the mid lane. That's 3 kills in favor of Apes Together Strong. And it was looking all right for Placeholder, but they just collapse around mid.
Return engage from Diana, but just too little, too late, with 2 members already down and no possible backup from the other 2 on mid lane and top lane. It's a free Baron. It's a free Baron for Ape, and yeah, it's slightly. The HD are kind of losing their grip, slowly but surely, it seems, on the team fights.
You have to think so. They've got 2.5 minutes with this Baron that they can recall, reset, pick up their items, push out bot and mid, secure as much priority around the Elder Dragon as they want. Should have Exodia for themselves for at least a couple seconds, but both of these buffs, well, you have to think Doom for Team Placeholder. They needed to be able to secure one of them for themselves, and it's just going to be so much harder now that the Baron's gone down in favor of Apes Together Strong. Mordekaiser, even at 50% HP, just feeling more than fine onto the Garrett. Alchemy doesn't have the phase rush, tries to flash out, cues away, runs for his life, but isn't going to be enough. Weechi's dominating. 1 and 7 on the Garrett. It's just not what we wanted to see in this game, and Apes Together Stronger together a very commanding win for themselves.
Yeah, it's kind of been the thing of the series, or a thing of this series, it seems. Alchemy or getting caught a lot. Diana all-inning though.
Yeah, not able to find it. Just doesn't have the burst damage. Super Mega Death Rocket is perfect from across the map. Able to secure the kill in response, and where Diana looks for the play, finds only death in return, as now the Ashe just too far forward down the lane, gets charmed, gets picked off, and that's another 2 kills in favor of Apes Together Strong. 22-6 on the scoreboard, and they're pushing down bot to try and bake over the base.
Yeah, it's looking like a close to 1 game. This is definitely going to be a base break, but how many inhibitors will they end up taking? They have a 3 people or 2 people advantage, so 5 versus 3, and possible they could try to end, but I think it might be too much unless they get a couple kills again. And it's
They got 20 seconds on Ashe. They're going to get all 3 inhibitors. You could think they'd be able to look to end here, but maybe just wanting to take all 3 inhibs and rotate the Elder Dragon to be able to do that last push to end the game. Apes Together Strong are, in fact, just that. We've seen over the course of this series, their MO has been group as 5, be strong together, and win the game. They were able to do it in game 1 to pull back from the brink. They weren't able to find it at all in game 2. In this game, from basically minute 1, with the Jigs getting those early kills, it's just all been in their favor. They continue to group up. They allow very few opportunities for Team Placeholder. They're just camping out this Elder Dragon, spawning in 5 seconds. Team Placeholder not going to be able to find any presence onto this objective. And this is probably the death knell for the series.
Yeah. Next fight with Elder Dragon almost has to be the final fight. I'm not sure where it's gonna happen. It might only be in PSD's base, where they actually try to put a final stand for the series. But yeah, it's close to over, depending on how hard Ape is gonna hard push and try to finalize the game and take the W in the series.
Yeah, Placeholder tried to push out waves, but that puts you in a risky position. The Ashe just get caught and blown up once again, as we've seen happen before so many times in this series. Yeah, like Placeholder trying to keep their base alive as long as possible, push those waves out, but you just can't against this Vi. Team composition too good at collapsing on you and making sure to secure the kill. Zap lands onto Diana. Oh, it's just a disaster. Zonius comes through with Amelia goes down. That's an Elder buff team. Mordekaiser picks up the Diana. Alchemy forced to retreat back to base. There's just no hope left in this game. Apes Together Strong. 5 men in the enemy base against just the top mid. We saw such good things from these 2 players for Team Placeholder in the previous games, but they're just going to have to watch as their base falls at the end of this game. Yeah, it really goes down to the Guardian Angel, but it's just not enough. Nexus goes down, and that's Apes Together Strong taking the 2-1 over Team Placeholder.
Yeah, valiant effort from PhD so far, or at least the first two games. Game 1, very solid early and mid game. Game 2, just a solid game win, taking the game and making it. Taking the game and making it a 1-1 series. However, third game, they tried to hold on, and I mean they did for a while, but yeah, just not enough. It might have been the champion difference this time around. I think the team comp being at least a decent bit more difficult to execute and actually, get your fights in. Still valiant effort from PhD. Sadly, this is it in terms of their playoffs. However, we do have a winner on the other side, which is the APE side. And yeah, good stuff from them. Good fights. Very solid last game and almost or at least equally convincing, as the PhD win in game 2.
Absolutely. We'll see if we'll get an interview here from some of the Apes Together Strong players. Commiserations, as you said, to team placeholder. We saw that over the course of the series, their MO was creating early advantages and snowballing through it. Definitely found some life for themselves. A solid showing overall, but yeah, like you mentioned, last game weren't able to find it. And Apes Together Strong, they knew what they were going for. They must have known when they were putting together their team name, because this 5v5 throughout the course of the series, yeah, they weren't able to find it to game 2, but they knew what style of play they were wanting. And
hello.
Hello. This is the interview, and who are we speaking to? Which member of the Ape team?
I'm the ADC, Plewandowski.
The ADC Plewandowski. Welcome. Good games, good stuff, and yeah,
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
How's it feel? How did you like the games?
It felt a lot better from like what we were doing the last few weeks. We just couldn't close the game. I think that was a massive problem for us. And today, I think we got our lead early, and we held on to it really well. Respect everyone finding good picks.
Yeah, it looked a little bit challenging for you going back to game 1. It seems like team placeholder kind of had your guys' number, at least in the early game, in that game, and game 2 as well. But you stayed strong in the early game for game 3, which was kind of the question that we had. So,
yeah,
as the ADC.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say, as the ADC, how does it feel in a game like, let's say, game number 2, when you're struggling to find those early kills? How's your mental for coming into game number 3?
The mental was not bad. I think after game 1, we kind of realized like that we can win this from any point we are, because we were quite far behind in game 1 as well. And we brought it back. So I think our mental was pretty good throughout. I mean, when we lost it, it felt a little bit bad, but we reset, ready for game 3.
Good stuff. No, liking or at least the team fight focus from your side. PhD, you had a change of pace in terms of drafting. You guys were more or less the same with the 3 times first pick Jinx on blue side. So definitely a favorite pick for you there.
Yeah, I mean, if they're gonna ban my Zarya, I kind of had to go for my second pick Jinx, and they just let us have it every time. So, I mean, why not take it?
I have to ask, with all the presence both in draft and in game, all the weight that was put on your shoulders, do you feel like you're developing main character syndrome at this point, or you should try to stay humble?
I am a main character. I do want to say though, shout out to our top laner, because he was playing on a laptop, not on his main setup. He's currently international, so he did really well throughout, because he not normal setup. So GG's to him, and GG's to PhD as well. They like gave us a really tough time. I mean, game 1 and game 2, game 2 they crushed us. Game 1 it could have gone either way. So I think game 3 we kind of had, but yeah, big respects to them.
Yeah, absolutely solid series. I think both of y'all were able to draft team compositions that had really solid ways of playing around them, really clear statements as to what your entire team wanted to do, clear go tools, clear engages. So definitely what we wanted to see from both of y'all today.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing we kind of had to work on. We had some good drafts in our previous games and some really terrible ones. So it's nice to kind of shore it up, and when we find these good drafts, it's very playable.
Good stuff.
How did you feel that?
Go ahead.
How did you feel that your draft in game number 2 was? Because it seemed like fairly solid adaptations. I mean, the theory going through ended up being a bit of a problem, but I did like once you saw the Melio pick not responding with the Sejuani. So did you kind of acknowledge in the drafting phase that you would have to go for something other than that beef ball composition that you had in game 1, or
yeah,
I mean, the response?
As soon as we saw the Melio, our jungler was kind of like it's a bit unplayable for Sejuani. And we agreed, so we thought just take the Ahri. I think it was just a bit of a misstep on our part, like not respecting the Nefuri, because in that game it was just turbo. You know, we couldn't stop it at all.
Yeah, ended up being a little unfortunate, but still demonstrated that y'all were fairly heads up as to what the draft was, being able to respond well to some of the changes that placeholder needed to make after the game 1 that went in your favor. But
yeah, I mean, I think I was just gonna say that game 2 was quite an eye opener for us as well, of like realizing, you know, maybe we should prioritize other brands, because we had issues with the Kindred before, but then we sort of said the Neferi seems more like the pressing issue, so we'll let it go through and we'll just try and take the Ahri off them and force them to play something they're not as comfortable with.
Really? TSM, any other questions from you?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking back at the scores, or just the general way all 3 games have been played out, and I'm curious who you'd favor in terms of like series MVP. Who was the most valuable member or player on the APE side in terms of you guys were series winners. Who would you favor in terms of MVP?
I definitely think there was a big bot carry, but I'll have to get to top laner again, because he was not playing on his usual setup, and he was just did really well. I think game 2 was a bit rough, but game 1 and game 3, yeah, he really performed. So you know, he got some nice solo kills early. You know, I think so. I'll give it to him. He deserved it.
Yeah. And how about you, Edelest? Who do you favor, or who would you give it towards?
I was just going to say that's a surprisingly respectful answer coming from a person who was drafted around in 3,000 games. I think I would have to give it to Lewandowski. I mean, the series really lived or died by whether or not the Jinx was able to get those kills and able to perform in the late game fights, right? I think that there were definitely solid plays from really every member of Apes Together Strong throughout that series. I think that the Braum in the last 2 games able to find a couple of plays as well, especially in game 3, and set up a bit of a snowball. So solid shout out there. And like you mentioned, top lane being able to hold it down across the whole series, but sometimes you got to vote for the main character, and in this series, that ended up being you.
If there wasn't other circumstances, yeah, I would have taken it happily, but I'll give it to him today. I'll get it next time. Don't worry.
TSM, are you the tiebreaker vote here?
Yeah, no, I personally also have to give it to you in terms of like the roles of each member. I would definitely give shout out to the top laner for his mental. The early games were tough. Game 3 was more than solid into the Garen. The other, like jungle, good setup, or your jungler, Jensky, very good setup, good assistance somewhat in terms of like keeping everybody safe, or at least getting you ahead as the main character, as well as the Braum defense, peeling. Yeah, just everybody really did their part and basically allowed you, or at least did their best to allow you to pull the fights off, and you did. In the end, you did. So yeah.
I mean, I guess they all did well. So
well, congratulations once again. Thank you very much for joining us, and I think that'll do it for us here at the Sunday Cup today. Apes Together Strong, advancing in playoffs. They'll face Team No Name next. Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you next time.
thank you. Yeah, see you in a bit. Thank you for casting.